The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on and they get.
He missed the complete. He's crazy stuff.
Side Freitas is on the grass on the infield floor. He slides through. He tags Richard.
Wiki bring home the victory and debuted the much-copied Polish Victory Lap. Who is going to do their own Polish Victory Lap today? We will find out after 250 kilometers of great racing on our live flag-to-flag coverage of the Premier Racing League AdvoCare Cup Series Race for Laura Lymphoma, there we go, Awareness 250K. Hello everyone and welcome to the Global Sim Racing Channel. I'm Brian Yazek. Joining me in the booth is Tanner Sharp. Spinning the dials and cranking the knobs and making us sound twice as good as we look is our director Amjad Yaman, who is using cameras provided by the one and only Dougie Beard. Tanner, this track was torn up and redesigned in 2010 and went to a variable banking setup from its historically flat setup and paved the dog leg. Tell us about how that is going to influence the action on the track today.
International Raceway, a oval repaved as you just did, which is back in 2010. It's going to influence a lot of great racing, especially with this new bill that came out today on the iRacing service that produced the 2016 package of low downforce. So with all that being said, I'm expecting some great racing today, and you got that big old dog leg on the back. Drivers can use that dog leg to try to gain an advantage on another driver, but you have to be careful coming right back up because you could slide right into the driver next to you. So there's no out of bounds here like Daytona and Talladega, so I'm expecting some great racing today. So let's try to go have a lap guide around here at the Phoenix International Raceway here on the Global Sim Racing Channel.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Global Sim Racing Channel. My name is Brian Yazek and I'll be taking you for a spin around the Phoenix International Raceway. Phoenix is a fun little flat 1 mile oval. It takes a lot of skill and a lot of patience to navigate this track successfully. Going into turn 1 on your first lap, you're going to hit the brakes right about on that second cone mark. Try to find either the bottom or the middle right here. Get back into the gas, but not too quick, because if you get back up, they're going to plow up into the fence. Now with Phoenix, when they repaved the track, they left this dog leg all wide open. You're going to see guys all over that. Turn 3, once again, find it. You're waiting for the car to roll, and then you're going to roll back into the throttle like there's an egg underneath the gas pedal. Going to get back off the corner. If you do it too quick, you will get a little loose, just like I did right there. Once again, down into turn 1. Hit the brakes right about on that second cone from the wall. Find that yellow line, and here you can actually hook it and go straight through the open dog leg, but be careful because it's very slick down there. There's no banking to catch the car. Back into turn 3. You're looking to find the yellow line, get out of the gas, ease back into it, ease it, and then once you find the right mark, swing it right out here to the fence, and you completed a lap around the Phoenix International Raceway. It's a driver favorite, fan favorite, and more importantly, it's going to be a great show for today. My name is Brian Yazek, and this was a lap around the Phoenix International Raceway. And as you can see, Phoenix International Raceway is going to play tricks with these drivers with that wide open and inviting dog leg. Now, if you're curious to know more about the title of this race, We would like you to sit back and watch this video that the PRL's Jonathan Cadell put together about Laura Lawson.
In this ever-growing community of sim racing, a lot of stars have been born. Sim racers are winning NASCAR championships, being offered real-life rides, and becoming celebrities in their own right. But some of the best work is done behind the scenes. Laura Lawson is a true pioneer in sim racing, taking online sim broadcasting to a whole new level, and is one of the frontrunners in making sim racing a legitimate esport. She has given so much to the sim racing community, but now she needs us to give back. Back in December, Laura was diagnosed with stage 4 lymphoma. The sim racing community has banded together to help her save LSR TV, one of the top sim racing broadcasting providers. Now it's time for us to come together and support Laura in the fight against this disease. Visit the link below to help support Laura in her fight. Stay strong, Laura. We are with you. No one fights alone.
We're all pulling for you, Laura. We're all hoping for the best, and we're all hope that we can meet your goal tonight of the donations being raised for you. So let's change gears a little bit and jump into the AdvoCare Cup Series point standings. As you will see on your screen right now, Jonathan Cadell, with his win last week in Las Vegas, has pole vaulted himself to the top, followed by Dan Murray and James Krahula, both having a win. And then we move our way down to non-winners so far. Jake Wright has had an outstanding season, 44 points up on the Chase cutoff. Steve Gottschalk, followed by Tommy Ryan, Joe Hassert, Matt Lacrosse, Ricky Hardin, who will be sitting out tonight because of running out of driver credits. Racking up too many incident points in this early in the season is definitely going to knock him back out of the top 16. Going to have to get himself a win to get back in there. And rounding out the top 10, Danny Sanchez. Tanner, read us back through the back half.
Outside the top 10 in point, here's some of the guys who are still currently in. That's Ryan Howard, who's 11 points ahead of the squad. Josh King, at number 5, 9 points ahead. Is in the 12th spot. 13th spot in the points is Scott Eckrick. 14th is Don Ruckle Jr. Thompson, and tied for the 16th place is Rick Jet and Salvage. Outside the top 16, pretty close to Titan points, is the number 01 of Benny Ellison, number 18, 42, Jason Calvin, and 5, Peri Daigle.
All right, and that's our top 20 in points. And this is going to be a constantly moving target, as you see right there. You had a nice little tie for the 16th overall position. So it's going to get good as the season wears on. But let's get a moment and talk to one of the drivers that will actually be competing in tonight's race. Driver of the number 98 Petco Chevrolet, Jesse Fowler. Jesse, do you have a copy?
I got you guys. How are you?
Not too bad. How about yourself tonight?
I'm doing really well. Really excited about running here at Phoenix and being able to support Laura here in her endeavors. Absolutely.
So with the new build out there today, what do you think that what's gonna be in store for us today? I mean, with the lower downforce package, Phoenix not a super aero sensitive track, but it's going to be a very hot one with the track temps being up at 114. What kind of racing action do you think we're going to see today?
Well, I only got a few laps in practice over here after doing the qualifying, so it's a lot different. It's real slick, so we're going to see a lot of people getting sideways in 3 and 4, so we got to be real careful with that. But other than that, it's going to be really fun because it's going to be able to pass because people are going to make mistakes and you're going to be able to capitalize on them.
Sounds great. Now you're sitting kind of outside, whether it's a rough start to the early part of the season, not really in any kind of a chase contention at the moment. Meaning, are you hitting the panic button yet, or you're hoping you're just going to right the ship here and then try to get a win? That'd be your best case scenario, right?
Absolutely. We had some trouble. We made a pit mistake and had a penalty at the Daytona race and never could make it up. Had an equipment failure at Rockingham, so was only able to do a few laps, and then got caught in a late incident last race and had a pretty decent shot at the top 10. So you're right. Let's go out there, get a win, and get ourselves in top 30 in points, and we'll make the chase.
That sounds great. Now, we talked about a lot at the top of the race, and you mentioned it right in the first part of your interview. Now, I think you kind of offer a unique perspective to what Laura is dealing with as your wife a few years ago battled the disease. Could you share some information for the viewers at home, just kind of what that's like from the spouse perspective and kind of the effects on how everything goes?
Well, first of all, it was probably the scariest news to ever hear in your entire life. Found out in the hospital about 5 years ago. It was really emotional for both of us, but we went to the cancer center of the Carolinas, and they have a great medical staff there, and they had an aggressive plan, and they knew exactly what to do. And about 6 months of chemo, and we ended up having another scan, and she's been cancer-free since, and it's been 5 years since then. So it was scary at first, but great doctors know what they're doing, and it was a blessing.
I mean, there's always a positive to that one. We're going to get you back and let you get some more laps around the track. Good luck to you tonight, and hopefully we'll be talking to you at the end of this one here, Jesse.
I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
That was the voice of Jesse Fowler, going to be taking battle tonight. We're going to try to bring that. He's got to right the ship here. He's had a kind of a rough start to the early part of the season, as we talked about, but no doubt in my mind he'll be able to turn that one around. So, Tanner, what are some of the other storylines of the race that we should be paying attention to?
Well, one of the storylines we should be paying attention to is the pit strategy, 2 or 4 tires. What do you take on that final stop? The field run is 41 to 44 laps. Will the curse of the leader continue? Will we get a winner of to make it out of 4? Excuse me, I'm a little rusty today. But when will Scott Eckert find victory lane? I mean, gotta usually get into the chase to win a race. And one of the biggest stories and topics is first race on the new build. How will drivers handle the new physics here on iRacing? The new low downforce package, just like in real life. Are we going to see close racing? What are we going to see? We don't know. We will find that out here today. Ricky Harden suspended for 1 race. No driver credits. Currently 9th in points. Will certainly need a win to clinch a chase spot.
Absolutely, and then kind of like what we talked about, this is going to be, with that first race on the new build, the Cup cars now mirror their real life brothers in the Sprint Cup series, with the lower downforce package. And like we said, Phoenix is not a super aero dependent track, but it probably holds just enough that having that one with the hot track temps that we've got tonight, like I said, 114 degrees out in the Arizona desert. That's nothing to mess around with. And yeah, and you mentioned it also, Scott Eckert has found pretty much every way possible to lose one of these races after being the fastest car in that process of things. So we're going to have to see, can he finally tie it up tonight? He's going to be on our Savage Spinner Pole Award for 2 weeks in a row, so one of these times it's got to work out for him, I would think.
Oh yeah, definitely. You got a fast car every single week, so that gives you the confidence that you can run up front and try to attempt to win races. You just got to be there at the end, and the lap that counts the most is that last one. If he can lead that last lap, I mean, he'll go to victory lane. So hopefully he can stay up front tonight and get that win.
Absolutely the case. Driver's going to finish it up, and you're seeing in the top left-hand corner, clock has expired. Warm-up is over. We're going to go straight into the qualifying results. And like I said, in the overall qualifying side of things, going to let everything cycle out here. We're going to have to burn through this one pretty quick, but we'll get through it nonetheless. Scott Eckert on your Savage Spinners Pole Award. Savage Spinners are unique river and stream lures created in the Pacific Northwest, handmade quality from the United States to entice fish at an affordable cost. To his outside, Nick Cohan. Rounding out in position number 3, Drew Carroll, Mr. Excitement himself, getting a great start, going to get up and at it early on in this race. He's got Eric Brundles in 4th, James Krahula in 5th, and Dan Murray in 6th. Tanner.
In 7th place, Tommy Ryan. 8th place, Rick Savage. 9th place, Matt Lacrosse. 10th place, Joseph Hazard, Big Joe Hazard. And 11th place, Rich Jett. 12th place is Dwight Beverly.
In 13th is Steve Gottschalk, followed by Steve Ritter in 14th. And 15th is John Martin, followed by Mark Allen in 16th. Jake Wright, Kind of an off qualifying line for him this time. Usually we see him up front, but he's going to have to dig his way out from the 17th starting position, and to his outside is going to be Pierre Daigle.
In 19th place, you got Alec Marshall, 20th. We just talked to Jesse Fowler. He's looking forward to get a win tonight. Hopefully he can do it from the 20th starting spot. Jason Swan will start in the 21st position. Reed Ruddle will start 22nd. Calvin Falarski is 23rd. And Woodrow Mahan starts 24th.
25th to Paul Pepper. 26th, Don Runkle Jr. 27th. To Chad Stallman, 28th to Jeff Ryan, followed by Brandon Minnick in 19th, and 30th to Jody Green. We'll just buzz through the end of this one here. Brett McBride, 31st, Brad Collins, 32nd, 33rd to Ryan Howard, 34th to Rick Thompson, 35th to Randy Yoakum, 36th to Josh King, Benny Ellison, Mark Norbert, and Jonathan Cadell. Shotgun on the field. But anyways, back up to the front. Field is in Scott Eckridge's hand. He's your pole award. Green flag is out in the air, and he's on to the loud pedal. Scott Eckridge getting a great jump off of the start. Going to try to put this one together from the start to the middle to the end. Following him down through there is the number 87 machine. Mr. Excitement himself going to try to get up there and keep his nose out front and keep in contention early on into this one. Followed by Nick Cohan off the restart. And Eric Brundle's there in fourth.
Already seen some guys use that dog leg on the very first lap, trying to get everything you can. It is a hot, slick racetrack today, so you want to try to get everything you can early, but you don't want to burn up the... Oh, I think we got a spinner.
Problems out back? It's a 70...
Maybe not. I was seeing
machine.
smoke. Yeah, I was seeing smoke out of my corner of the eye as I was talking. I was going to talk about James Kerhula here, who used the apron, but yeah, somebody was smoking going down the turn one there. Maybe got a little too hard on the brakes.
And you get those hot track temps and jump onto the brakes too early. That rear end of that car is going to dance right around on you and not hesitate to try to meet the front end of the car. But out front, all clear and all fine. Your top 5, 6, I believe, are all in line. Yep, no one's really jumping. I mean, your first battle for position is going to be back to between Rick Savage and Big Joe Hazard. They're battling out for a final spot in the top 10. And look at Jake Wright. I just mentioned where he started in this race. Jake Wright is already working himself up to try to knock on the door of the top 10.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, he's on a move right now. Started 17th, currently 13th this time by, or 12th place, excuse me. And so far, so good, trying to make up every single position as possible. He understands a hot, slick racetrack, so hopefully he doesn't burn off the tires right away.
Well, that's the thing is on these pressure-sensitive tracks, you've got to get the good out of those tires as just as quick as you can.
Number 11.
Big Joe got really schooly there in the corner.
Oh yeah, he did. I mean, he wrecked it. He just didn't hit anything. Ooh, Big Joe.
Oh, caution is out onto the speedway. We're going to pull that one up on the replay for you. Here we are. We're going to take a look at it. Now we got it. All right, there's your battle on the street. Yep, right down the front stretch. Oh, he gets it up into the air.
Catch fence.
Catch fence. Number 29 of Paul Pepper. Not the way he wanted to start this one. That Jimmy John's machine is used up like a wrapper. Got really high through the turns 3 and 4, and there he just kind of met the number 2 there, Rhett McBride. Wow. Yeah. That's a unique crash you don't quite see every day. That's one of those iRacing glitches. So, unfortunately for Paul Pepper, not the way he wanted to start this one out, but he has also disconnected from the server. Now, jumping back out front after a couple laps, I'm surprised to see this many cars jumping down pit road. I mean, I wouldn't think 5 laps would be enough to warrant coming out or staying out there, or bringing it back down pit road. Now I'm going to be curious to see how many 2-tire stops we're going to see at the end of this one.
Yeah, I'm serious to see who's going to take the gamble on 2 tires, see if it works, but I am not surprised. Me personally, I'm not surprised that these guys are pitting right now, because these tires wear, on a hot, slick racetrack like this, these tires wear so much. And plus, with the couple builds ago, iRacing did increase the tire wear of these cars. So with a hot, slick racetrack like this, man, and you're going to be using up them tires big time. And from what I'm seeing, everybody's taking 4.
Yeah, 4 tires for everybody out front. I did see there are some gamblers out there. The 27 of Jake Wright and the number 11 of Joe Hassert. Both, by my stopwatch, 2 tire stops for them.
Yeah, I mean, it's early in the race right now. I mean, why not take a chance on try it out? I mean, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, then 2 tires don't work. But right now, there are some gamblers right now. James Krahula in the 24 and Tommy Ryan in the 6 stayed out.
Ooh, they're going to be it's going to be a pretty lonely feeling for them up front, I am imagining, because as you mentioned, Tanner, James Krahula and Tommy Ryan both stayed out, and you've got Woodrow Mahan back there that has also stayed out, but everybody else lining up behind them like hungry dogs has 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles. Now, if you're someone like the 27 machine of Jake Wright, you know you're going to be able to be fast enough. But is the 2-tire call going to work out this early? I mean, if you're 6 laps into the race, I guess that's the best time to try that one.
Well, it could work out for maybe like a lap or 2, but I think, and this is just my opinion and experience, the 4 tires is the way to go. But right now, it's early in a race. I mean, why not try it out right now?
Perfect time to do it. And that's absolutely the case. But when we take a look at it, that's pretty much everybody else has Dylan on the pit road except for James Krahula and Tommy Ryan. Now, for viewers at home, we know that Tommy Ryan and that number 6 Northern Tools and Equipment machine is not afraid to try strategy and is not afraid to push the envelope when he needs to. So I can't really remember off the top of my head. He was running inside the top 10, so it wasn't a huge gamble to jump up there. I mean, he's not going to be. It's not like every driver's worst fear when you stay out and some of the guys back in 28th on back stayed out and they're sitting right in front of you. That'll always make you nervous. But between Krahula and Ryan there, it's going to be those are 2 guys that I think could probably handle staying out on those tires.
Yeah, you could, but I mean, what if we get a long run? I mean, there's a lot of questions right now regarding to the new physics, to tires. I mean, there's just so many questions we can't answer. We just have to wait and see what happens as we enter turn 3 right here. The pace car lights are turned off there, Brian.
Absolutely. Field is going to be in control of the number 24 of James Krahula running that Race for Laura logo on the hood. Let's see. Pace car is off. Krahula is in charge. He gets onto the loud pedal. Green flag back into the air. Gets a great restart. He and Tommy Ryan both. It's very rare that typically you will see both of those, the first row, get that good of a restart. But look off the back bumper of Tommy Ryan. There's the number 70 of Scott Eckridge, not wasting any time off of that restart to make hay while the sun is shining out in the desert. Already down to the inside of Tommy Ryan, trying to get that position back. He's going to try to get it right here, but oh man, there's 3 wide back in the middle of the corner, in the middle of the pack. Scott Eckridge completes the pass out front, and now he's going to set his sights on that number 24 machine of Krahula. Krahula's not going to be able to put up much of a fight at all. Ooh. Here comes Eckridge down to the inside. Scott Eckridge looking for the lead, and he's going to get it coming through the dogland.
Well, there goes those 4 tires. I mean, holy cow, talk about making up every ground you can on a restart. I mean, that's what you got to do in hot, slick conditions like this.
You just got to get after it, and you can see him get while the getting's good. Scott Eckridge wasted no time to get out front and get away from everybody, and now you're going to watch. I think 2-tire, those staying out can work if you're out front, but I think you're going to see Tommy Ryan probably slip through the field here a little bit. Now, after a couple laps, I think those tires, the 4 tires and the no tires, will even out. But I think the advantage right now is in Scott Eckridge's hands.
Ooh, almost a wreck in 3 and 4 with number 77. He actually hit the apron of the racetrack, got into the gas, and got loose, but he saved it there. That was number 77 of John Martin. The driver I'm keeping an eye on right now is Big Joe Hazard. He's lost a couple spots. So far, he's trying to maintain a top 10 running position here as he's being under attack by Matt Lacrosse in the 22 machine. So far, so good, clean racing. Try not to get too hard on them brakes, boys.
You got to take care of it because that right front tire out there is your friend, and the brake pedal is your friend. So if you can keep both of those in check, you'll find yourself in victory lane after the race. Everything pretty much is settled out really nicely out front. Everybody seems to be minding their P's and Q's quite nicely. I think the next battle for position is actually shaping up right here. As soon as I say that, Eric Brundles in that number 54 target machine. Going to try to go to the inside of Dan Murray. Dan Murray's not going to give him a whole lot of room down there, but through that corner, there's not much you can do. You can try to pinch him off exit, but now is Murray going to go for the double over, try to get back underneath him to go and get the preferred line in the first corner. Dan Murray decides to just roll out of it. Too early to push the matter that early on. Just decides to stay out there. He's got 4 tires right now, nothing to really hurt, and that they're all trying to get it. They're actually all going to be fighting around this. Ooh, almost contact. Everybody checks up the 07 right there of Woodrow Mahan. Got everybody stacked up going into turn 3. I think those tires are really starting to fall off of that machine.
Yeah, they're starting to fall off a little bit, and right now everybody's just trying to give each other a little room here, especially giving the 07 a little room here. Coming off turn number 2 right here, number 54 could use a dog leg if he very well wishes. He uses a little bit of it. I mean, that's the advantage you get here at Phoenix. Dive down turn number 3, side by side. Dan Murray's going to hop in right behind. Be careful of that apron, boys, when you get back into the gas.
That apron could be your best friend because there's a lot of grip right on that yellow line, but too much of it really unnerves the car. We're on board with Dan Murray battling with the 07 machine. He's going to try to get to the inside here. Got that preferred groove. He's going to try to get the run, but he just doesn't quite have enough. Or is the 07 going to push out? You can watch that 5 JBL machine dive right down to the bottom and try to get a move, but I think the momentum was just too good off of that corner.
Yeah, the tires are definitely starting to play in with Woodrow Mahan there in the number 07 Chevrolet there. You got Dan Murray in that Toyota trying to get around him. That hasn't had to quite found the speed on exit to really get side by side with them. But another driver that's coming to play in the picture is Matt Lacrosse in the 22.
Matt Lacrosse, he was a good front runner last week at Las Vegas. Took 2 tires on the final pit stop, trying to get some advantage over the number 65 of Jonathan Cadell, who was our eventual winner of that one. But Lacrosse showing he's no one-trick pony, riding right there in the 10th position. Caution is out. We've got the 88 machine stuck on track. Jeff Ryan had a spin. Oh, lots of damage to the front end of that machine. I'm going to have to go to a replay on that one and take a look at what happened. Oh, this might be a little embarrassing for the driver. Yeah, he goes through the apron right here and just loses it. You'll watch it here on screen. Tries to make a dive down to the apron, use that dog leg to his advantage. But when it comes back onto the other side, there's just not enough grip down there, and it just does a lazy spin and nose first right into the wall. Lots of damage to that machine.
Yeah, that's with these hot, slick conditions and this sun beating down on the racetrack here, it makes everything so slippery like you're on ice skates. I mean, that apron, it can be your best friend or your worst enemy when it comes to these hot conditions.
I compare it to an ex-girlfriend or something like that, you know? It can be your best friend or your worst enemy. This time around, no hesitation from everybody on the track. 4 tires, everybody to pit road. But you know what? I'm going to have to eat a little bit of crow here because there's Tommy Ryan. He's sitting there in 3rd place. That was an overall net gain for him. He was running about 6th or 7th before that first stop. Was able to hang on into 3rd position, and that's where he's entering pit road right now.
Yeah, it was great. It was a great call by Tommy Ryan, and hopefully he can stay in the top 5 throughout this race. I understand Big Joe Hazard. He was back outside the top 10. He was like 12th when that caution came out. So hopefully he can get 4 tires on that machine and hang in the top 10 and possibly get a win for later today.
Still plenty early to decide who's going to try to win this one, but we're going to have to see. 4 tires, left sides. No one is going to beat Scott Eckrich off of pit road. In fact, it's going to be your order of pit road. Scott Eckrich, James Krahula, Jake Wright, Nick Cohan, Mr. Excitement, Drew Carroll, and then Eric Brundles, Woodrow Mahan, and Dan Murray are going to be your top 10 running off of pit road.
Yeah, definitely cars are still trying to get off pit road here after, but that 88 machine, I just looked at his car, man. He doesn't even have a nose anymore. Holy cow, I can't believe how hard he hit that inside wall.
Whoa, Tommy Ryan's back on pit road. I do not know why that 6 machine is back on the pit road. Unless it was some kind of speeding penalty or something of that degree.
It would be, I believe it would be an EOL if it was a speeding penalty there, Brian. But what I think happened is I think he missed his pit box. It's hard to judge when you get that corner on pit road there down towards turn number 1. It's hard to see the pit box. So I think he missed a pit box because right now he's on pit road collecting 4 tires and he should be on his way. So yeah, I believe he missed his pit box.
I'm watching the replay right now. Let's see what happens to him. And he goes to dive into pit road. No. Yeah, you're right. He just completely blew past his pit stall. Hard to see. Yeah, you're right. Right around that corner is a tricky sight line. And absolutely makes all the sense in the world why he dived back down pit road. I thought maybe if you got a speeding penalty, you're going to be EOL anyway. Well, just come on back down pit road and just get to the end of the line the quickest you can. I mean, that's, you know, it's kind of the nice way of doing things. But
right,
waiting and letting everybody go by. I also look through the field here. Remember how I said Mr. Cadell is starting shotgun on the field? Impressively enough, he has worked his way up to the 17th position after starting 39th. Great drive for the driver of that number 65 machine.
Yeah, so far so good. I know it's early in a race right now, but hopefully he can get some positions made up here. I know he's got 4 fresh tires, obviously, so hopefully he can make some positions up early and not drive the car too aggressively and save some little tire wear. He should be able to maintain top 10.
Should be able to. Cadell's really good at that, and he's really good at methodically working his way back up through the field. But speaking of up through the field is going to be in the hands of the number 70 machine of Scott Eckrich. Ford Mustang pace car dives off. Field in his control. He's going to get onto the loud pedal. Green flag back into the air. Scott Eckrich gets a great restart once again and is just going to motor away by about 2 or 3 car lengths. But then you look right back behind him. There's that number 27 machine of Jake Wright trying to get to the inside of James Krahula. And he's got Nick Cohan sitting back there as an interesting observer in the popcorn position. We got a problem out back. The 16 is spinning. Oh, big mess. Big mess in the middle of the corner.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. And the radio is going crazy. So like a checkup there. Holy cow.
DJ Beverly is involved. I know that 16 machine is involved. Who else is in this one? 55. I'm going to go on the replay here and show you just what happened. Oh, right there through the dog leg. A little contact, I believe. And then that just kind of... The 16's actually going to be okay. He just got spun out to the inside and everybody else wrecked trying to check up.
Get some 4 fresh stickers and be on your way. Let's look at this again from the aerial view here. Oh, yeah, that was oh, wow, yeah, just got tagged in the left rear door right there and saved it. And everybody's checking up and running into each other. 55's going for a spin there, down towards turn 3.
Went through a little spin cycle there often, and that's how the 02 of DJ Beverly got his front end damage right there. Just hitting the spinning car of the 55 machine of Pierre Daigle.
Yeah, Steve Ritter, he's going to come down pit road right now. He didn't hit anything, so, I mean, he may have some slight damage, but it's nothing. I don't think it's going to affect his aerodynamics by no means. So he should be able to come down pit road right now to collect some 4 fresh tires and be back on the racetrack and try to gain those positions back. Long way to go, though, so they're not being pressured yet.
And with the lap times here, under caution, not being too terribly long, but not being too terribly short at the same time. He's going to be able to get that damage done in chunks. So I don't know exactly how much damage is on the front of that 02 machine. In the 16, it looks like he's got a little bit on the left front fender. It's crunkled up a little bit.
Yeah, it has to be minor. He just collected 4 fresh tires and be on his way, so it has to be some minor damage. So hopefully when he gets back on the racetrack with Go Green, he should understand in about next lap or two how his car is handling. So I think he'll be okay.
And something else worth keeping in mind, we talked about it under the last caution there. Tommy Ryan missed his pit stall, came back in this time and hit pit road as well. So now he's got himself 4 fresh field goods as this one wears on. So it could be a really good call from Tommy Ryan as the race burns on.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in the back of the pack, why not come take 4 fresh tires? It might burn off in a longer run, but Yeah, for now it's just take 4 fresh tires if you're in the back. Yeah, but if you're up front, stay out. You're only a couple laps on green on these tires, so it's not making a huge of a difference. But we'll just have to see when we go back green racing.
That is the case. Just kind of looking out front, nothing else has really changed through that aspect of things. I'm trying to kind of look through the field and see. I mean, the 88, the 55, and the 2 are all still on the pit road. Probably taking. I think if you're DJ Beverly there, you're probably just getting all the damage fixed in one shot. Lose a couple laps. All the other cars that are 1 lap down are pretty much wrecked out. So even if he goes 2 laps down, if we get another quick caution like that, he'll find himself right back onto the lead lap and not have to mess with getting that car repaired anymore.
Yeah, I would try to get the car repaired as much as I can as of right now, and take advantage of these cautions. Whenever a caution comes out, take advantage of it and get the damage repaired as much as you can, and get back on the racetrack and try to get the best position you can and finish in this race.
Absolutely the case, as you're kind of looking out the front here. Field once again will be in the hands of the number 70 of Scott Eckrich. Really nothing else has changed off of that restart because they made it about 3 corners before the caution came back out. So I'll be curious to see what Jake Wright can do sitting there in 3rd position on the inside, if he's going to be able to get a good enough restart to get underneath the 24 of Kahula and try to clear him through the dogleg. But more importantly, Ford Mustang pace car is off. Field is on his control. Scott Eckrich wastes no time getting onto the loud pedal. Green flag back into the air. And he's going to get another great jump off of the restart. But more importantly, there's Jake Wright looking for 2nd position underneath James Krahula. But is Krahula going to be able to fight back on the outside? Doesn't quite look like it this early on in the race. Track's a little too slick, and that outside groove is not quite burnt in yet. He's going to slide right up in front there. Wow, definitely wasted no time in slamming the door on Krahula, trying to get to the outside in turns 3 and 4.
Boy, Scott just pulled away. Scott Eckrich just pulled away just a little bit. I mean, he gets into that gas and he is gone as they are battling side by side for 2nd place here. You got the 24 of James Kahula, James Wright, Drew Carroll, Nick Cohan. Pass for 3rd right here. Nick Cohan on the 21, stuck on the high side. Oh,
Another
we have a caution.
It's the 7 machine, I believe. Yeah, Rich Jet, the 77 and the 7. Oh boy, we were in Vegas last week and all 3 7s are all wrecked up. This is another interesting one because you see right there, Rich Jet he just gets on the brakes too hard and the rear end comes around. And then the 77, does he do the exact same thing trying to check up?
I believe he does, and he got on the brakes too hard, and the thing just went around on both cars. They got hard in that corner. I mean, when you're trying to get into some corners and you're trying not to hit the guy ahead of you, man, you get down the brakes a little too hard, you're just going to go spin right around.
And from what I can tell on the number 7 machine, not a whole lot of damage there either, so he may have just gotten out of this one scot-free, but unfortunately for fans of DJ Beverly, I didn't think the damage was too much, but apparently he thought it was too much to continue as DJ Beverly has disconnected from the server.
John Martin in that number 77 didn't get heavy damage as well. I mean, he didn't really hit anything. So when the pit's open, or if they already grabbed it, they should grab some 4 fresh tires and be on their way. So I'm not seeing any heavy damage on both cars.
No, and curiously enough, out front, everybody stays out once again. A bunch of takers right through about mid-pack, led by the number 12 machine of Rick Savage that led them all to pit road that time. So your top 10 are going to stay exactly the same from the last run, but everybody else, well, no, it's going to be about the top 15, top 16 are all going to be on old tires, and then going from then on back, you're going to have guys on hot or nice and cool fresh tires.
Yeah, definitely.
We do have a lucky dog, actually. Looks like the number 92 of Chad Stallman is getting his wave around the front end of the field. And he is your first Coastal Safety Auditors lucky dog of the race. And there you see Brutus the lucky dog. Coastal Safety Auditors, your one-stop shop for fire and life safety equipment and services. So Brutus the lucky dog has bestowed his good fate onto the number 92 of Chad Stallman. So with that all caught up now.
Yeah, I don't know. When we get back green here, I don't know. The way it's looking right now, Scott Eckrich could finally lock up that win, but we'll see. I mean, anything can happen in these races. And like we said earlier in the broadcast, Scott Eckridge just trying to get that W, doing every which way possible. It's like a Dale Earnhardt at Daytona, trying to get every which way possible to get that win.
Except for Scott, it's been at every track he's been to. I mean, he's been fast everywhere. And just one thing leads to another. I mean, right now, the curse of the leader is not playing too big into his strong suit. And Tanner, in case you're curious about the curse of the leader, throughout most of these first 4 races, this being race 4 of the AdvoCare Cup Series, the leader of the race has always found trouble at some point throughout the first half, and then even into the second half of the race. It's either been a connection thing, caught out on bad pit strategy, or not even bad pit strategy, just pitting at the wrong time. I think he lagged out at one of the times. Joe Hassert had that happen to him at the Rock too. He was up front, and all of a sudden, just poof, gone.
Yeah, you definitely want to have a strong connection stability when it comes to iRacing for sure. But if your connection is strong, you need a mistake-free race, because any mistakes involved whatsoever, whether it's a wreck or bad pit strategy, overdriving your pit box, whatever it could be, you need a mistake-free race in order to win these races.
Absolutely the case out there for those drivers today. Let's give a quick little update as the field works their way through the, well, I'm not going to quite have time to get around to it this quick, but I'll make sure I mention it under our next caution. So, anyways, field is back into the controls here of Scott Eckridge. Scott Eckridge going to try to get away and try to lead some laps early on in this one. Field back into control. Ford Mustang pace car back out. He's onto the loud pedal, and away he goes with the green flag back into the air. You see a little tire spin off of the 24 of Kahula. But now here's the fun part. The number 27 of Jake Wright is going to challenge
There he goes.
Scott Eckridge to the high side. It's just not going to quite work out. You've got to let the rubber build up out there, and you've got to let that track come to you to make that top side work. It's not going to work on lap 35, but with 35 laps to go, that upper groove might work there in 1 and 2. So just getting a great start and jumping out front is not going to be your savior. But the number 27 machine is all over Scott Eckridge. Jake Wright wasting no time to try to get around him, still trying to make that high groove work. I mean, I guess someone's got to rubber it in. It might as well be him, right?
Oh, yeah, he's not playing around. I mean, he wasn't even caught sleeping on that restart. I mean, he went as soon as that leader went. So, I mean, so far so good for Jake Wright. And that 87 machine, he was actually got a great restart. He's started 4th, currently 3rd, got around the number 24 of James Kahula on the high side, so he's trying to follow the same footsteps as number 27 of Jake Wright. So hopefully Jake can put up a good battle with the race leader.
Definitely going to be good as this one shakes out throughout the run. Out front is kind of stabilized out, but I'm looking right now at that number 54 machine trying to get to the inside of the number 07 of Woodrow Mahan. He's going to get there, but is he going to be able to hold it? You see the car sliding just a little bit through the middle of the corner, but I think the 07 is going to be able to pinch him down a little bit on exit and squirt away, get a great run on the high side, and now the 54 is going to have no other choice. No, he's going to try to go back down to the inside.
Oh,
7 is pinching
close.
Oh, wow.
Close racing.
Updated their net code.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That one would have been a wreck about a week ago. Those guys were all over each other.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And we just seen, on my screen at least, I don't know on the broadcast, he's blinking just a little bit. That would have been big if he would have came back. And, I mean, he would have been inside of his car, and netcode may have played a big point. But, yeah, good thing iRacing updated their netcode, because that would have been huge. They'll put pinching the number 54 down in turns number 1 there, trying to protect his position every which way he can. I mean, this is just good old-fashioned classic racing right here.
Absolutely. It's good old-fashioned. Get the elbows up, get racing, and get after it. So let's see as this one shakes out. Another update, Don Runkle Jr., driver of that number 00 machine, apparently has lagged out of the server as well. So not the way he wanted to continue his season on as the race run. Jumping up out front here, you see Dan Murray sitting there in the popcorn. Oh, no, where are we jumping to here? Well, we're going to go on screen here. We're going to talk about it. Rick Savage trying to make some moves up there. Oh, I'm seeing smoke. We got problems right in front of him. Synchronized spinning between the number 91 and the number 76. They didn't really synchronize spin. They just kind of drifted through there. But now are they going to be able to get back up onto the track? Nobody touches each other.
Try to stay low on the bottom of the racetrack there. I mean, just to try to let the guys on the outside go so he doesn't get involved with them. Great save on all these guys. Fantastic driving. It's great paying attention. Oh, wow. That could have been huge.
Let's see. About Rhett McBride. Oh, Rhett McBride. Still green. He spun far enough down into the dog leg that did not trigger an iRacing caution. Wow. Just kind of did a full. Did he hit the wall? No, I don't think he touched anything. He just kind of slid, and he slid into home base there.
Oh, yeah, safe. I mean, yeah, so far that's not going to bring out a caution flag because it did not happen on the racing surface. So iRacing doesn't throw any caution flags if it does not happen on the racing surface.
Now, the thing to keep in mind for him right now is those tires are now hot and angry on that number 2 machine. So he's gonna have to try to ride this one out, hoping for a caution at some point to get back on pit road and get himself 4 fresh feel goods to get back into this one. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. He's back in the 31st position, tail end of the lead lap. The next car is behind him, which is Don Runkle, who actually legged out. He's 7 laps down. So actually, if he gets lapped, he'll be the first guy to get the lucky dog.
Yeah, nobody else is really in a good position for it right now. So even if he does have to fall a lap down, he's still sitting in good graces. So back out front, as we see on screen, the number 70 machine, Scott Eckridge. Everything is fine for him. He's opened up about a half-second lead over the number 27 of Jake Wright. Smooth sailing. I don't think that car has been sideways yet once. He's somehow mastered the hot and slick surface here at Phoenix International Raceway.
Well, not yet. I mean, hopefully we're not putting the commentator's curse on the number 70 machine or the 27 machine. Yeah, I mean, we're trying not to talk about it, but hey, we're calling like how it is on the racetrack here. So yeah, so far these guys are running such a great race. Actually, the guys in the top 5 are running such a great race. You got Scott Etrich, who's leading the race at the moment, Jake Wright, Drew Carroll, James Krahula, Nick Cohan. Those top 5 guys are running such a solid race. I think those are the only 5 cars I have not seen sideways yet.
So far, that's absolutely the case. And to keep that right rear quarter panel onto it, not getting stepped out through the middle of the corners and, keeping that right on there, that's going to be the good way. On screen here, you see a Nick Cohan in that number 21 machine using a lot of the apron to try to make that car turn through the middle of turns 3 and 4, but he closed up a great gap to the number 24 of Krahula. Caution is back out onto the speedway. The 19 machine. Mark Allen, and smoke is trailing out of that Bud Light machine. That one's about as used up as a beer can. What happened to him? Did he just lose it through the dog? Oh, he lost it going into the dog leg.
Yeah, man, it's weird, but I mean, stuff like that can happen on hot, slick conditions. I mean, plus that apron, that's actually considered as an apron on that dog leg, but drivers, they still use it. There isn't a lot of grip down there, but you see onboard camera right here. Yeah, he just lost it. He clipped them left side tires and just went for a spin.
Well, and something else to keep into mind, too, as well, as you watch on board of that incident. That was the longest run on tires for those guys. So maybe those cars were starting to get evil for some of the drivers out there. And I think that's what you saw happen right there to the number 19 of Mark Allen. So, but with that being said, I expect everybody on the pit road here with, let's see here, we are 48 laps down of 156. And just like follow the leader, everybody's diving right back into pit road.
Yeah, that Bud Light machine got opened up like a can of Bud Light.
Looks like a bunch of those cans that you'd see in the recycle bin.
Oh, yeah, pretty much. And right now, I think he just grabbed the 4 fresh tires and repaired some of the damage. And he's still on pit road, actually. So, yeah, he's going to repair some of that damage. As you can see, number 70, Scott Etrick's going to go down pit road here, 4 fresh tires. And I believe he will be the guy to beat off pit road. He smoked it going in his pit stall.
Got in there a little hot to trot, little smoke coming off of there. With iRacing's newest update today, we can actually see some of those smoke events. I'll be curious to see at the end of the race if we can see the winning burnout, but it does not going to hurt him a whole lot. Scott Eckridge, your winner off of pit road. He's got Jake Wright, James Krahula, Drew Carroll, Eric Brundles, 21 of Nick Cohan, and Dan Murray is going to be your battle off of the pit road.
I don't know. You have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Tommy Ryan is staying out.
He has stayed out, and I know Tommy's a great racer. I know I raced against him. He's a tough customer, but I don't think he would stay out. I had 17 laps on those tires. He did come to pit road the last time that we were under caution, but I don't think there's any way he restarts that race up there.
I hate the break at the Tommy, but I think you're odd man out there.
I mean, if it boils down to bonus points, he's going to get a bonus point for leading the race. So that's never a bad thing. He's thinking of the long game. With him not having a win yet, and points playing a big factor into who's going to make the season-ending chase. Staying out leading a lap here and there is probably not a bad idea. He only had worked his way back up to somewhere in the ballpark of 20th. I don't remember if he was on the good side of 20th or the bad side of the 20th, but it was somewhere in that ballpark.
But remember, he actually missed his pit stall on that one caution too. So, and he was mired in the back of the pack. So, and he really couldn't go anywhere back in the pack there. So right now he's out leading some laps to get a bonus point under his belt. But what he is actually going to be hoping for when we go back green is some sort of caution entering down turns one or next couple laps, so he can gain some of that track position.
Oh, pace car lights are off. Tommy Ryan is staying out. This is going to get an interesting on the restart. I don't know how. Even if you're saving your tires, I don't know.
Well,
I just don't know.
Well. I mean, the fact of the matter is, he's on older tires compared to everybody else, especially towards the number 70, who's been fast all race long, pretty much led every single lap. And you got Jake Wright in the 27. So, and another thing that's going to hurt Tommy if it happens is, yes, he's a race leader, but you got to be careful getting into gas because you don't want to spin them tires. They're a little bit worn out, and we just had the longest green flag run. So hopefully he doesn't spin the tires and just hold his line, and everything should be okay.
Everything should be okay, but you know what? We're going to find out here in a minute. Field is in the control of the number 6 of Tommy Ryan. Ford Mustang pace car dives onto pit road. He's going to get back onto the loud pedal and try to get away on a restart. Green flag back into the air, but he's not going to be able to get away from the swarm of the 70 and the 27. They're going to try to take him 3 wide into turn 1. Tommy Ryan in the middle. Jake Wright trying to back out of it on the bottom side, but he's going to be able to try to make it stick on the bottom. 3 wide battle for the lead. Mr. Excitement there in the 87 is going to try to get in on the action as well. Jake Wright all the way down into almost to the inside wall, but Scott Eckridge gets out of all of that in the lead. But now, how does the descent of that 6 car falling through the field affect everybody? 3 wide back behind him.
Oh,
Dan Murray, the 07 and the 21 of Nick Cohan were all 3 wide out of the corner. So these drivers know these tires feel really good for about a lap. And then that's about it. So they're trying to make it work while they got it. Woodrow trying to make a comeback, but not too. Oh, we got another spin out back. That was Alec Marshall. Oh, no, not Alec Marshall. Caution is out. The front end is crinkled up. What happened?
Let's see it happen on this replay here. Coming off turn 1, going through the dog leg. I was thinking it was some situation with that dog leg, but maybe not. He may have got tapped from behind.
Let's see here. I'm going to take another look at it. I don't know if he got touched by anybody. I think he's... The thing is with the apron, you have to commit to it or you have to go above it. He tried to ride the yellow line through the middle of the corner and it just de-wedged the car, and he saw exactly what happened. Now, to his good grace, the front end of that one doesn't look too bent up, and I don't see any smoke trailing out of that machine, so I think he might be okay as long as he gets it fixed.
Yeah, just like what you just said, it's either you're going to take the apron or you're not. Actually, I don't think he really meant to take the apron. He just got the left sides on them on that yellow line there. Oh yeah, he took it a little bit there, but yeah, you got to really be careful with that apron. That's just the bottom line. I mean, with the hot, slick conditions like this, it's just very treacherous down in that area.
All right. Well, most of the field stayed out. Some did pit. The 07 of Woodrow Mahan at the suggestion of the race administrators took it down pit road because of some lagging issues. There's a car right now getting the wave around. That's the number 55 of Pierre Daigle, who's going to be your Coastal Safety Auditor's lucky dog winner. For this one, you're going to see Brutus the Lucky Dog pulled up on screen right here. And Coastal Safety Auditors, your one-stop shop for fire and life safety equipment and services.
As you can see, Tommy Ryan, he actually stayed out again.
That's a bold strategy, Cotton. We're going to have to see how it plays out for him.
Yeah, he's hoping for another caution, I believe. I don't know what to say about Tommy's situation and all. I mean, maybe he knows something we don't know. I mean, to me, I would just grab tires. I understand track position is probably the biggest key here, but we'll see what happens. Can't really criticize Tommy too much.
No, and I know he's bigger than me. He'd probably come, whoop me. But so I'm not gonna criticize him too much. He's got a plan. I'm gonna let him stick to it. Woodrow Mahan, the driver that was just told by race administrator to check your connection, has actually just pulled it to pit road and disconnected. So, unfortunately for him, not the showing he wanted. But if you're having connection issues and you're trying to raise people, it's gonna make people not trust you as soon as you start to dive around them if your car's been blinking.
But yeah, he was having some good side-by-side racing with the 54 car earlier in the run, down turns 1 and 2. But he was blinking now and then, but maybe it just got a little worse, and he was just notified of it.
Yeah, we'll see here. Everybody's getting ready. We're going to come to 1 to green here. Pace car lights are going to dive off, or turn off. There we go. Field is going to be in the control of Scott Eckrich. Now we're going to have to see how this one works, because Jake Wright is good right off of the start, but over the run, I think the 70 of Scott Eckrich is a little quicker on that. So something worth paying attention to if this race comes down to a shootout at the end of it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep. And let's see here. Field is working their way through turns 3 and 4. Some of the stragglers in the back of the field rushing to catch back up. Should be able to get there by the time that works and the restart comes. But you're going to watch that Ford Mustang pace car, that beautiful gold Mustang, dive off to pit road and let these cars free. Scott Eckrich gonna waste no time. Back onto the loud pedal, green flag back into the air. A little bit of tire spin off of the restart, but now you look right back behind and battle for second, shaping up between Drew Carroll and the number 27 of Jake Wright. Scott Eckrich takes a very slow line through there, checks everybody up. That's gonna bring the 27 up to the high side, and I think the 27 is gonna prevail through the dogleg. We're gonna see he's gonna be there. We got a battle for the lead shaping up between Scott Eckrich and Jake Wright. Jake Wright gonna. We got another caution. Is it the 01? I see another 67. The 67 is damaged from what I can see. What happened here? Oh! I see what happened. They tried going 3 wide through the apron.
Oh, I believe it was the Bud Light, or no, is it not Bud Light, but New York car. I'm trying to make up the car number, but
yeah,
that
it was the number 8.
Yeah, that could have been a little netcode issue. I didn't see him touch him.
Randy Yoakum. Now, I see it when I'm watching my replay. It's almost like, because they came off the corner. Randy was up on top. Let's see here. Randy was up on top, got too close to the wall, comes down, takes the other car with him, the 01, and then just overshoots the corner?
Oh, yeah, there was definitely contact. He actually kind of came down just a little bit and collected the right front quarter panel of... Oh, yeah, maybe he overshot the corner, and, oh, man, the 67 was just an innocent bystander there, but I don't know what happened
unfortunately
there.
Caught his teammate up there, so Brad Collins and Rick Thompson both caught up into the same wreck. Shame to see that Air Force machine of Rick Thompson bent up at the front end of it, but, and a couple other guys. Rick Savage, like we talked about. The 01 of Benny Ellison was involved. We've got a lucky dog. Let's see, who is that? Is that Alec Marshall getting back onto the lead lap? It most certainly is. Alec Marshall is going to be your Coastal Safety Auditors lucky dog. There you see Brutus the Lucky Dog. Coastal Safety Auditors, your one-stop shop for fire and life safety equipment.
Yeah, I was just looking at the replay again of that incident. On my screen, it didn't look like they were touching, but obviously they touch. I mean, there was damage on both cars. So they definitely dud.
And with that, now that we've got the lucky dog taken care of, we're going to take a break here as the field works their way around. We'll come back to you just on the other side. Stay tuned for some more great AdvoCare Cup Series action.
In this ever-growing community of sim racing, a lot of stars have been born. Sim racers are winning NASCAR championships, being offered real-life rides, and becoming celebrities in their own right. But some of the best work is done behind the scenes. Laura Lawson is a true pioneer in sim racing, taking online sim broadcasting to a whole new level, and is one of the frontrunners in making sim racing a legitimate esport. She has given so much to the sim racing community, but now she needs us to give back. Back in December, Laura was diagnosed with stage 4 lymphoma. The sim racing community has banded together to help her save LSR TV, one of the top sim racing broadcasting providers. Now it's time for us to come together and support Laura in the fight against this disease. Visit the link below to help support Laura in her fight. Stay strong, Laura. We are with you. No one fights alone.
Welcome back to the AdvoCare Cup Series race at the Phoenix International Raceway. You saw the video there about Laura Lawson, an update for everybody out there. She has a goal set of a $3,000 on the GoFundMe, and in 1 month, they have raised $2,595. So they are $405 short of their goal. We would love to see that matched and completed tonight. It'd be a great thing, especially for Laura and everybody and all of her family as well. But back out front, Scott Eckrich is going to be in control. This is going to be a great restart once again. Checks up the field just a hair, but he's back onto the loud pedal. Green flag back into the air. This time, Jake Wright gets a better restart. He's not going to have the 87 crowding the inside, but is he going to be able to try to get up to the outside once again? Eckrich, he knows what he's doing on those restarts. He's getting that line through 1 and 2, and he's getting them kind of almost stopped behind him, and it's causing a checkup reaction. And he's just able to squeak away on the outside. But looking back through the field, there's the 87 machine of Drew Carroll trying to get to the inside of the 27. Jake Wright's going to get a great run off of the top of turn 4. But is he going to be able to make it work as Drew Carroll's going to try to look to the inside, but not quite. Jake Wright's going to shut the door. Looking back through the field, Nick Cohan trying to make a move for the 5th position on James Krahula, and I think through the dogleg here. Tommy Ryan!
Tommy Ryan! Oh, yeah, he clipped that apron.
No!
No caution.
He spun just far enough off of the racing surface that it's not going to hurt. You're going to watch the replay here. It's not going to trigger the caution. Of course, it hurt Tommy Ryan, but it's not going to hurt the whole rest of the field. I think just those worn tires potentially caught up to him. You see the same thing that happened to Alec Marshall.
Clipped the apron. Yeah, he clipped the apron.
2 tires towards the dogleg, 2 tires up onto the track, and the car just doesn't like that. So I think Tommy's just going to have to try to ride around here and hope for another caution to bring that number 6 machine to pit road and get that damage fixed. But looking out,
he was having such a great run in that top 10, hanging on, hoping for the cautions to fall so he can pit with the leaders. But oh man, I just feel it for Tommy.
Had a great showing last week. We talked to him in the post-race interview. Was really looking forward to Phoenix. And, I mean, the race, they still got just under, what do we got here, 91 to go. So there's still time, but with more of these cautions, that's taking more guys out. Oh, the 8 machine smoking on the infield as well. No caution as well. I think he spun down to the inside. Did the same thing happen? Oh no, he got loose. Yeah, you're going to watch this on replay. He gets loose right before.
That apron, that dog leg, once again, you get them 2 right side tires on the track and that dog leg, you're going for a spin.
That dog leg is a widowmaker.
Oh, yeah. It looks like it's dirty down there. I mean, we're on the DX11 now here on the iRacing Sim, but it just looks like a little more dirtier down there than what it is on the racetrack.
It might very well be the case. I mean, you go down there, there's just no grip. But luckily for everybody out front, Scott Eckrich, Jake Wright, Drew Carroll, your top 3 right now. The track's looking great to them, and they're finding a way to make it all work. But Drew Carroll looks like he's going to be under fire from that number 54 target machine of Eric Brundy's. Brundy's trying to make it go down to the inside, looking just a little, but if you can roll and kind of diamond the center of 3 and 4, you can get a great run, and you see that's exactly what the 87 machine of Drew Carroll did. Was able to get about a car length advantage over the 54 and block the passing attempt before going into turn 1.
Yeah, this is the biggest lead in a while that Scott Eckrich has had, because the 27 of Jake Wright's been sticking with him pretty good, but right now he's only 7/10 off and losing a little time each lap. But so far, so good for Scott as he comes up towards lap traffic. Ooh, almost contact.
Just a little bit. Now, Scott Eckrich is also dispatched of the number 76 machine of Rick Thompson. He was able to navigate the lap traffic very nicely there. Yeah, didn't disturb anything. Gave up maybe a little bit of time to Jake Wright, but now Jake Wright's going to give all that time and more back trying to deal with that number 76 machine to the outside.
Yeah, about 2/10. As you can see, he's came off the corner off turn number 4 there, and still side by side entering. He should clear that 76 machine. Actually, they all should clear him eventually here, but yeah, so far so good. It's now back up to 8/10. So he's got clean air and running solid.
Clean air and clean track around here are a beautiful thing, but now he's given up a ton of time. I mean, really what ended up happening there is the 76 it didn't quite roll over for the 27 machine. You can look right down there, and Jake Wright was just wheeling it off of the corner. You could watch those white gloves move back and forth on the steering wheel.
Also notice, Brian, that a lot of these guys are avoiding that dog leg whatsoever. Some of them are kind of going through a little bit, but a lot of them are trying to avoid it. Ever since we've seen all them spinners that clip that dog leg right there, man, it's just they're just trying to avoid it.
Well, and that's what I was saying is you have to commit to the dog leg. You can't. Everybody that's spun out through there has had the 2 tires on the left sides on the dog leg and the right sides were up on the racing surface, and all it does is just spin you out immediately. So if you look out front, everybody's taken and given plenty of room to that yellow line. Nick Cohan right there especially gave a ton of room to the yellow line, but as soon as you get involved and you get down there, that's what sends that car for a spin. So and a lot of these guys have teammates throughout the field. In fact, most of the team, most of the league, there's very few independent drivers out there. So a lot of them have teammates on their respective TeamSpeak channels. So I'm sure the message got out very quick. Hey, if you're going to do it, commit to it. Don't try to dangle that line.
Definitely, you can communicate to your teammates to say, hey, this is what's happening over at the dog leg, and what line are you driving? They can share information to each other. So that's always a good thing when you have teammates. You can share that kind of information. The driver, I got to give a call out right now. He's sitting in the 7th position, started 39th. Jonathan Cadell, he is in the top 10 there, Brian.
He's making it work. Winner last week in Las Vegas, started dead last tonight. He's trying to get up there and give James Krahula a little bit of a weapon for the 6th position. Right now, no big gains, no big closures. Nothing really big happening out there out front. We'll jump up there if I see something else, but really, everybody's kind of minding their P's and Q's. This has kind of reached the middle part of the race. The first battle I'm actually seeing right here is for 12th position between Rhett McBride and Josh King. This is the middle part of that race where guys are probably just trying to settle into a groove. They know there's still a bunch of time left. I mean, 81 laps to go is a long time around Phoenix. So they're just trying to settle in, get to the end of this, and then they'll settle it from there.
It is, and hopefully we can see some green flag pit stops in a little while. That's about 40 to 44 laps on a tank of fuel, 60% fuel load. So, hopefully we can see some green flag pit stops that could mix up the field just a little bit.
And like we saw 2 weeks ago at Rockingham, and a little bit last week in Vegas, actually more so, more importantly, last week in Vegas at the 1.5 Speedway, the tire wear, it's good here. I mean, it's going to wear out, but the lap times haven't dropped off that terribly much. I mean, when I look at, let's see here, when I take a look at our leader of Scott Eckrich, His best lap time is a 28:28, and his last time was a 29:30. So about a second after 30 laps. So I doubt you will see any radically short pit strategy that anybody's going to try out there today. But you know, it's these racers are racers, so anything is possible.
Yeah, definitely. Anything is possible. That's why we were talking about the leader's curse earlier in the broadcast. You got number 70 machine of Scott Attrich, who's got about a 1.1 second last time by lead over Jake Wright. So if he can just maintain his position and keep that time ahead and kind of keep pulling away. But I mean, at the same time, you don't really want to pull away because you'd be using up the tires compared to the guy behind you. So tire management is key in iRacing, but at the same time, they will wear out.
You almost have to what I call relative drive. You know, if you open up a nice gap, so like when you look up there at Scott Eckrich and Jake Wright is actually coming under fire from the 87 of Drew Carroll and the number 54 of Eric Brundy's. You're just maintaining the gap. You're not trying to run qualifying laps anymore. You're just looking at that gap. If it's sitting at a second, you're trying to make it stay at a second without pushing yourself, because you know that those guys out back are probably trying to push their stuff to close that gap.
They are, and they're just trying to gain. If you're in the back, you're just trying to gain every little bit as you can, just trying to keep maintaining your speed, hit your marks on the racetrack. Let's see here between the leaders. Last time by it was a 1-3. This time by was a 1-4, and let's see what he is at the start-finish line here. Jake Wright, it should be about what, 1-5? Yep, 1-5.
Battle for second. Jake Wright got a little squirrely off of the corner and had to chase it down from the wall a little bit, which opened the door for Drew Carroll, Mr. Excitement himself, to jump through there and take the second position away from Jake Wright. Now Jake Wright's going to fall into the clutches of Eric Brundy's. And let's see, maybe Drew Carroll was sitting back there playing a little bit of possum. Let's see if he's going to be able to get up there and maybe give Scott Eckrich a little bit of a hassle.
Maybe, but the more these guys battle, the more Scott Ettrick is just going to pull away. So we'll see what happens between these three guys. Right now, they're kind of single file at the moment right here. No big battle. Yeah, oh, here comes a 54. Oh, we got a little squirrely there. Trying to get into that dog leg just a little bit. He got a little squirrely, but so far he was able to hang on to her. So far, so good. You got another car in the back right here. You got, who's that? Nick Cohan kind of blending into the picture.
Cohan knows how to save his stuff just a little bit, so it wouldn't surprise me if he's hanging on and just hoping for it. But actually, last time by, number 65 was Jonathan Cadell, the other black car, just off of James Krahula there, was your fastest on the track that lap time. So it wasn't by much; it was by probably about 0.04 of a second. No, it was actually about a tenth. Now that I relook at the time, about a tenth over the leader. But when you're that far back, it's not going to be a big factor. But Scott Eckrich he's still out front. Had to deal with a couple of lap cars right there, which closed the gap back to Drew Carroll just a little bit. It was 1.9 seconds. Now Drew Carroll is 1.7 seconds back. Let's see if Drew Carroll is going to be able to navigate the lap traffic a little better. And he's going to catch him right at the good time. Get down low into the corner, swing it wide, and go on through.
Yeah, he isn't, but I mean, every driver wants to hit their marks as best they can. Usually, they tell the lap drivers to go high above the racetrack so it doesn't disrupt their line or anything. But last time by, Scott's just he's gaining when he's in clear, hands down. I mean, he gains a tenth each lap from what I'm reading here. So, yeah, so far so good. He's going to catch the 88 car here soon without the bumper.
And that 88 machine on the front of it looks like an old bootleg modified. Which runs Saturday nights here on the Global Sim Racing channel. Whole front grille torn off of that one. It's getting maximum airflow. So, I mean, that's great in that standpoint. But the problem is it's not aerodynamic at all, and it's extremely slow. But
painful on the straights. That's just the key thing. Oh, man. But it handles good in the corners, I bet, but painful on the straights.
I think probably sails through the corners.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's probably got the best handling car on the racetrack right now because obviously with the damage and with that straightaway hurt speed right there, you know, his aerodynamics may not 100% be there, but yeah, he's all right. He's getting fast right now by number 70. It's almost a 2-second lead that Scott has.
Yeah, Scott that car is strong throughout all parts of the run, the front, the middle, and then coming up on the end, because these drivers are approximately anywhere between 2 and 4 laps, 2 to 5 laps away from a green flag pit stop. So that's going to be something that's going to be worth paying attention to as these drivers try to take these cars that have been out there on those old tires and try to.
Here's a little mess right here I got to bring up between the 54, Nick Cohan. Look at this. All 4 of these guys. You got the number 12, which I believe is a lap car. Number 27 way high above the racetrack a little bit there, kind of giving up some ground to the number 54 and 21 of Nick Cohan and Eric Ruddies. Excuse me if I got your name wrong. I'll get it eventually, but yeah, it's a lap car that's kind of being a little bit in the way, but 27, it looks like his tires are starting to fall off a little bit.
And not the only person that the tires are falling off. That number 70 machine, I've been keeping an eye on him. We don't really have to jump to it up front, but I've been watching him just a little bit, and that car is starting to get just a hair squirrely here and there. So,
yeah, he isn't really being pressured at the moment, number 70 of Scott Ettrich. So I would say as long as when it gets down to a second, if it gets down to a second, I would feel like, okay, he's starting to get a little better than me in each lap, each corner. But wow, he gained a ton last time by. A couple tenths, actually.
Yeah. Wow, right? Just plummeting back on the outside. Going to fall all the way back to 6th and probably just keep going, because there's Matt Lacrosse in 8th. Cadell's going to sneak by to the inside for 7th, but he's going to try to leave the door open for him. It's going to be close right there. I think, yeah, the good have just fallen off of that 27 machine. And there you see right here, he's going to be the first one to dive to pit road to try to get himself 4 fresh field goods.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, when you're falling back that way, you've got to do something. And that was exactly his play.
Yeah, he's like, I had enough of this. I'm going on pit road, so get them 4 fresh tires. And with them guys staying out at the moment, he will gain time if they continue to stay out.
I mean, lap times have fallen off about 1.5 seconds now as this run progresses on. Apparently, whoever gave me my fuel reading at the beginning of this race lied to me, because these guys are on 45 laps of the run right now. I mean, even with all those caution that would maybe buy them, well, maybe it's not that far off. I would expect these guys to be on the pit road anywhere in the next 5 laps. I hear you winding up back there, Tanner. What you watching?
Well, I was watching the number 27 Jake Wright's pit stop, and when he was exiting his pit road, he was spinning them tires really bad. So hopefully that doesn't affect anybody. And I'm hearing some audio here in the background, like someone blew up. Not sure who that was.
Caution!
Caution! Alec Marshall, maybe?
Well, Alec Marshall blew up. That was the car that detonated their motor.
I don't. Oh man, and I don't think Jake Wright's gonna get that lucky dog.
I don't think so either. Let me take a look here.
Yeah, his toe triggered the caution flag, so that's very unfortunate right there. I was surprised the caution even came out, since he was so below on the inside of the racetrack. Or I should say the dog leg or apron, however you want to call it.
Well, this is interesting. Your coastal safety auditor's lucky dog is Rick Savage this time by, but he's smoking? Hold on, that couldn't have been the trigger. I see him smoking now.
Oh, he's receiving the lucky dog right now, I believe.
No, it just blew up.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
He's waving around the field. I mean, that's one way to be the lucky dog. Coastal Safety Auditors, your one-stop shop for fire and life safety equipment. Boy, that one will make the highlight reel.
Well, he may be the lucky dog, but how in the world did that happen? Oh, boy.
Well, that's a thing. It's kind of all I can say about that. That's a thing.
Yeah, he's that's Rick Savage there. Yeah, he's under 100 miles an hour trying to get around the racetrack here. Oh boy. Well, but that puts Jake Wright in a horrible position as well. He's back in 20th, 1 lap down, so that caution kind of fell at the wrong time for Jake.
Absolutely fell at the wrong time. Let's see here. Yeah, Scott Ettrich is going to be your leader off of the pit stops. Got to let timing and scoring catch up here a little bit. Looks like it's going to be Scott Eckrich, followed by Drew Carroll, Nick Cohan, James Krahula, Matt Lacrosse, Eric Brundies, Jonathan Cadell, and Rhett McBride. Our poor director trying to keep up with how fast I talked. Sorry, Amjad. Hey, you see a little bit of nose damage there on the front end of Rhett McBride. As you're watching the marbles actually fall off of that machine, so that's actually kind of cool to see that in the replay.
Yeah, definitely, and that's all due to thanks to that DirectX 11 that came out today on the iRacing surface, so we can see all that stuff. And yeah, and if it was a night race, we would have fireworks probably. So that's from what I'm hearing. So
there's a video; it's floating out there.
Yeah, I believe there is a video. I haven't seen it, but I've definitely read the release notes of everything. So DirectX 11, thumbs up.
Well, we're going to go to green. Or we're going to go 1 to green, and then they have thrown a caution, I believe, to let the wave arounds catch up. So,
always a good thing there.
Yeah, never a bad idea.
Oh yeah, it gives a chance everybody to catch on up, and and since they're trying to catch up to the field, because usually iRacing gives a wave around guys, or everybody who's behind that pace car, if you're like a lap down or whatever, they usually give you like 1 lap to catch up. And this is a small track. This is a mile racetrack. This isn't anything compared to Las Vegas. That's 1.5 miles. So it's definitely a smaller track. So that was good by the officials to throw that yellow.
And then update here. Jake Wright, I believe, was one of those wave around vehicles. So he was just on pit road, so I don't think it's going to hurt him too terribly bad. But he has jumped back around. And Jonathan Cadell hitting pit road again under caution.
Not quite sure what to make of this right here. I'm not Jonathan
59
Cadell.
to go. Is that maybe a fuel window?
It's 40 to 44 laps, so I can't see him making the rest of the way.
Well, those guys just ran 45 by themselves, and none of them were really diving off. So,
well, they did. I'm just playing consideration that the longer you're in green flag run, the longer you're in that gas, the more fuel you're using up, especially if it's a 60% fuel load. So that's just how I'm thinking. But I mean, I could be wrong. So we'll just have to see.
He just dove down pit road and didn't stop. He just rolled down pit road and got to the end of the field. Maybe there was a black. I remember. You know what? Now that I remember, in the in race chatter, there was he potentially got a black flag for passing. Something to do with the I can't remember the other car involved, but maybe you got an end of line penalty or something of that variety.
Green flag is out side by side. Sorry there, Brian. Side by side, they were going green, and Scott Eckrich once again has a good restart going into turn number 1, number 87 of Drew Carroll, Nick Cohan side by side.
Well, that's what I get for being so distracted so easily. Nick Cohan drove that onto the apron through the dogleg, dang near sideways.
Oh, sideways!
Scott
70,
Eckrich
here we go.
gets a little sideways. No,
held the lead.
Straight back up.
And he held the lead, too.
That checks everybody up. Cohan jumping to the high side, trying to make it work.
Oh man, he might have been feeling a little pressure there, but he clipped that. He caught that a lot of that apron 3 and 4 down there, and still saved it. Still maintained the lead. Uh-oh, I hope the curse is not coming in now.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
Not trying.
You're going to be the one that's going to need the police escort out of the track tonight, not me.
I might need a police escort out of the booth. Give me a heart attack.
Whoa, I saw something. There was a machine down on the apron that just caught my attention really quick. And it didn't bring out a caution. Nothing happened. Oh, it's at ADD. Anyways, back out front. You see Drew Carroll there, after all of that shakeup, has jumped his way up into second place, and now a new player has entered the equation, Nick Cohan, in that number 21 machine.
Yeah, Nick Cohan's been in the top 10 throughout this entire race. I mean, he's been in the picture. He just hasn't been battling with the top 3, top 4 guys. So, I mean, he's been there, just hasn't been in the picture. Right now, he's in the picture.
He's just been slowly working his way up there. I know after all the bad luck that's found him in the first 3 weeks of the race, or 3 weeks of the season, he'd love to get himself a good win tonight and lock himself into the chase and not have to worry about that throughout the rest of the season.
Boy, Just think how excited we got. Just think how excited Scott got when he spun down 3 and 4 there a little bit. Oh, man.
That was just some good old-fashioned drifting through there. He was able to keep
He
it
was dirt
squared up.
tracking it. Yeah, he was dirt tracking it there. Yeah. Good
Now-
save, though. I tip my hat about that. Wow, I probably wouldn't be able to save that.
But now what I wonder is, did he hurt the rear tires on that one? Because he's not pulling away from Scott Eckridge. Scott Eckridge is maintaining about a half a second lead, or a half a second gap to the leader. So maybe he hurt his tires a little bit. Wow, 87 got really close to the wall coming off of the wall, or coming off of 4 there. I don't know. These tires they're very sensitive at a hot track like that. You get them riled up and angry once. I don't know. Well, last lap he was still quicker by about half a tenth. So I maybe just had to let it settle out for a moment. That's all.
Well, his tires are like, we forgive you, but don't do it again. So right now, so good. He's only about 4 tenths, maybe 4 tenths, 5 tenths right now. So, I mean, yeah, 5 tenths. So he's maintaining his lead right now, kind of like back how he's been this entire race. So far so good. But 87's like, oh man.
Jumping up to the 4th position for a battle. Krahula to the outside, Brundys to the inside. They're going to come right back together going into turn 3. Brundys is going to have the advantage, but Krahula is going to get the great run off of the high side. Will he be able to hold it together? Yes, he will. Not drift up too much into that wall and cause any chaos, but Brundys is still going to be right there. Going back into turn 1. Brundys is going to be the inside. No doubt you're going to watch him dive down to the apron this time. Trying to make that work. No, he's not going to try to dive down to the apron.
Yeah, he was trying to avoid that apron. He kind of clipped it a little bit. It got a little loose. That allowed the 24 to gain the advantage there. But I like Brundy's line in the corners. I mean, he has some left side tires on the yellow line. I mean, square on the yellow line. So, I mean, he's taking a good line through the corners, and that's how he's catching James Krahula. So we'll have to watch this little battle as this race progresses.
We will, but hey, let's take a moment right now and do a AdvoCare through the field. Looking to add some spark to your life? AdvoCare gives you a full line of options from wellness to weight loss to those looking for a little bit more performance from their active lifestyle. Please contact independent distributor James Krahula at james.krahula@gmail.com or at the link in the description of the video below. Your leader, as we've talked about a whole lot throughout this race, has definitely led the most laps. 98 of them led. Right now, Scott Eckridge out front, followed by Mr. Excitement himself, Drew Carroll in second. Third to Nick Cohan, followed by James Krahula himself in 4th position, and Eric Brundys settled in right now at 5th. 6th goes to the number 22 machine of Matt Lacrosse. 7th to Rhett McBride, who we've seen sideways and slideways and spinning and everything else. He's hanging on to the top 10 right now, followed by Reed Rundown in 8th. Josh King in 9th, and Steve Gottschalk, who we saw synchronized spinning at one point, or synchronized drifting, with, I believe that was the 67 machine, is rounding out your top 10, but just behind him is Jake Wright, who is trying to rebound his race from that pit stop. Really, the caution bit him on that time. Just trying to make it work now. Well, there we go. Krahula, we just talked about it. We cycled back through. But now we come back out front. Eric Brundys in that number 54 machine has gotten back around. And drivers are exchanging a little bit of jawing back and forth on the in-race radio, which thankfully we don't broadcast.
Yeah, James got on the radio and said, that was fun. He said something beforehand. I caught it. But, yeah, that's some good communication right there.
There was a word I don't think we can say on the broadcast that was in there as well. So
yeah, these boys are having some fun on the track.
Oh, absolutely! They're slipping and sliding and having a great time. So, but everything is happening all behind the number 70 machine of Scott Eckridge and that Steel Horse Racing machine. A clear dominant force tonight. 102 laps led. With 45 to go, I mean, these guys are probably in the maneuver right now, or they're in the window for one more stop to the end of this. So now's going to beg the question of, when do you make that stop? Do you try to run that window all the way out? Do you split it in half? Do you hope for not a caution? I mean, you're a driver just like I am, Tanner. How would you play these final 44 laps out?
Well, in these final 44 laps, obviously, I don't have 40 to 44 laps in my tank at the moment right now. So with all that being said, and I don't believe everybody can make it to the end right now unless they pit. So with all that being said, if I was out there racing right now on the racetrack and I'm hanging about outside the top 10, I want to try to grab 4 fresh tires and fill that thing with as much fuel as I can. Just fill it up. 4 fresh tires, and what I get is what I get. I mean, I kind of want to pit just a little early too, so I can gain some advantage on the racetrack, and hope some guys can run a couple laps on the racetrack, like Scott, Drew, Nick. All them guys are been front runners with this race. So, with all that being said, I want to try to get down pit road a little earlier than them guys, so I can gain a little time, especially if on the guys ahead of me. 4 fresh tires is gonna be the way to go. I mean, that's just my opinion. I mean, right now there's no time to gamble 2 tires or no tires, stuff like that. It's gonna be 4 fresh tires all the way.
Oh yeah. I mean, the only time you would maybe look at 2 tires would be if you had a late race caution with 5 or 6 to go, coming to the green flag, and you might as well, you got 2 tires on it. You're gonna be able to make it work for a couple laps. Then we'll go that way with it. Did you find everything out there, Tanner?
Oh, yeah. 76 actually kind of got in the way of the number 5. A little contact between the 5 of Dan Murray and the 76 there. Trying to make out who that person is as I'm scrolling through here. But anywho, yeah, they're trying to get through lap traffic here. Dan Murray's actually outside the top 10, and he was running in the top 10 early in the race. So hopefully he can get a nice top 10 finish right now. Right now he's about 14th place. And another driver I'm kind of falling back that was in the top 10, about hanging around 9th or 10th place. But he's drifting. Oh, car in the wall, number 28. As I was talking about these guys in the back here, I was going to say Joe Hazard, he's back in the 16th position. But yeah, number 28 and number 76 gets loose. Calvin gets on the radio. Didn't quite make out what he really said, but yeah, these guys are kind of slipping and sliding in the mid-pack here.
And we've got a little bit of stuttering out there on the stream. We apologize for the technical inconvenience, but at the moment, at the next break we take, we'll try to get that fixed. And Minnick is on the pit road, maybe playing that one a little early. Where was he at in the field? He was a lap down already, so I don't think he was going to be a player in that one. But looking back out front, Scott Eckridge disposing of the number 88 machine one more time. Very, very cool number 88 machine out front. Really not under any threat is that number 70 of Eckridge. Drew Carroll has not been able to close up at all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to really put this, but I mean, you can pit early to gain a little time, but maybe it's just a little bit too early to pit. But so far, if we can catch another caution and make the leader jump like he did in 3 and 4, I mean, maybe you have a chance. But Scott Eckridge, man, is just bad fast. Here's a battle I'm looking at, or they were battling earlier, was Nick Cohan and Eric Ruddy's. They're battling 3 and 4. They're actually single file right now, but the 54 machine has caught Nick Cohan.
Yeah, and the 54, it seems like that he knows how to drive that car through the long run. He's able to come on strong at the end of it, but he just gives up so much time on the onset that he kind of comes out at a neutral wash. So, I mean, it's great that he's able to make that one work. It's just not going to quite work out for him. Kind of what we've noticed in these shorter stints of the race. Next closest battle is actually kind of back in the end of the top 10. Steve Gottschalk in that number 91 machine. Close, but not quite close enough to the 35 of Josh King. He's going to try to get a run here. King gets a little wiggle through the dogleg, but so does Gottschalk. He'll try to sail it into turn 3 this time. Gap is going to remain right about the same at about a car length between the two.
Gotta tip my hat to
maintain that right off there.
Gotta tip my hat to Josh King there. He started back in the 36th position. He's already up the 9th, so he's clinched the top 10 so far. So good run for Josh King tonight. Oh, and on the radio communications, James Krahula, I believe, got on the radio saying he is pitting. 16 is pitting too.
That number 24 machine, the AdvoCare race for Laura, locks on the brakes getting into pit road.
All right,
gets
now
onto
this
pit
pit stop's
road.
crucial. It's crucial now, mistake-free. I mean, that's key. If there's any kind of mistakes here, I mean, your race is done. So hopefully you can get a mistake-free pit stop here, get back on the track. I'm going to see if he takes 4 tires. I imagine he's going to take 4 tires, but...
And who else do we have? Scott Eckrich is going to stay out. Drew Carroll staying out. Everybody's staying out. So really it's Krahula off by himself here.
Yep, Krahula's taken 4 fresh tires and a full tank of fuel, just kind of like how I said earlier when we were talking about pit stops. As he's out right now, do not speed. He's clear from the cone. He's able to enter the racetrack here, or he's on the dog leg of the track.
Oh, he's cutting that one way low.
Well, yeah,
almost caught the inside wall with the left side of the car. That was impressive. That's Krahula. But here he goes, trying to cut the apron down again.
I got these 4 fresh tires. Yeah, there we go. That's
he feels like Superman right now. Had
Superman.
all 4 tires on the apron going through thirds 3 and 4. Very aggressive maneuver from James Krahula. Now, when this one cycles out on the other side, I'll be curious to see where he lines up in the order, if the short pitting is going to work out for him. Scott Eckrich stays out for another lap. So does Drew Carroll. Matt Lacrosse, everybody's staying out.
Okay, so with all that being said, so far everyone is staying out at the moment. So with all that being said, as of right now, James Krahula, he may be a lap down, but every lap he's gaining more time on everybody that did not pit. So we'll have to see how this all plays out. Jesse Fowler, number 98, goes a lap down of Scott Eckrich. But yeah, I'm curious to see where James Krahula is going to end up towards the end of this race.
Well, and more interesting enough, Dan Murray has also short pitted. We somehow missed that one. In there, and he's turning lap times. I mean, for sake of comparison, he just ran a 28.52. Our leader ran a 29.85. So I mean, that's what, a second and a half.
Yeah, that's a lot of time. Every time at a track like this is crucial. So with the guys that just pitted, they can make it to the end now. So right now, who knows? Right now I would not want to caution for the guys that have pitted, but I want everybody else to pit. Then a caution comes out. So we'll have to see what happens.
I guess here, what's going to break out here is we got 29 laps to go now. When does Drew Carroll make the move to pit road? When does Nick Cohan dive to pit road? If you're looking out and you're seeing these guys making up all that time, I mean, you know, for those 2 guys, they could go in a lap earlier than Scott Eckrich and come out in front of him when it all shakes out on the other side. So I would think that they would try to get in there and make it, and actually a battle for a second on the track. Not much of a battle. The 87 of Drew Carroll just lets Nick Cohan go by. Last couple of laps, Cohan's been closing that gap little by little. I don't know if the 87 of Carroll has a plan here to maybe try to save it or what, but that 28 or that 21 machine is flying right now.
Get this. The leader, Scott Eckrich, is at the start-finish line. James Krahula is 3 and 4 as of right now. So he is gaining on that race leader. He's gaining time on the race leader. He may be a lap down, but he is gaining time. And right now, he is the lucky dog. So, number 70, he's going to go down pit road pitting this time.
He is down to pit road this time by, and without much of a surprise, the 2 drivers right behind him are also going to dive on the pit road. At least that's what they've announced.
Yeah.
Let's see. Here comes Scott Eckrich. Here comes Nick Cohan. Here comes Drew Carroll. Matt Lacrosse still rolling up on speed, so Matt Lacrosse is going to get a bonus point for leading a lap here. But I will be curious to see where Krahula and Murray come out in relation to Scott Eckrich. Brundys is going to be on pit road this time by.
Yeah, everybody's making their pit stops right now. Right now, like I said before, mistake-free. Every single pit stop mistake-free. Any kind of mistakes right now. Almost slid through the pit stall. Number 70, Scott Eckrich. He made it, though. 2 tires, right sides are going to go up at the moment. Let's see if he gets left sides up. I imagine so. Yes, he does. Full tank of fuel, and he should be on his way.
The boil down to the pit crews, and Eckrich's crew fires off.
There goes Krahula.
Great stop. And that you're right, Krahula has leapfrogged him.
So he should be, with that being said, he should be ahead of the leaders. So he should be the race leader in the next few laps, at least.
Yeah,
that's a lot of time gained. But yet again, you have the cars behind you that just pitted. So yeah, you got a point.
But the the 24 of Krahula has been out there for 10 laps now on those sets of tires, so we'll have to see.
Either way, it's time to go.
It's time to sit on the hot stove and sweat ice water. 24 laps to go for the number 24 machine of James Krahula. Let's see if he's going to be able to go through and spoil the party for the number 70 of Scott Eckrich. That would be an upset. Ooh, that wiggling back there. That was the 01, I believe.
Yeah, I was hoping he'd save that, but yeah.
Well, and Eric Brundies is still on the track, so not a bad strategy. He's got basically the top 5 have stayed out this entire run. If it works out and a caution comes out now, this will work out beautifully for the top 5 because they have everybody else pinned 1 lap down with 23 laps to go now, 22 laps to go. That would be a huge swing at the end of this race, and I think that's really what Eric Brundies and Matt Lacrosse, Josh King, Joe Hassert, and Jason Swan are all hoping for. Hope for a caution, and now Cohan gets himself back onto the lead lap.
Yep, it looks like all these guys are trying to get back on the lead lap. We know Scott Eckrich, the baddest car of the race, all race long, the fastest guy. He's on the lead lap. Let's see. Actually, he is losing time drastically. James Krahula is losing time drastically to Scott Eckrich, who is right behind him.
Yeah, I watched that gap in one corner shrink about 0.3. That was impressive. It's not going to be much of a battle for long. That number 70 machine is hunting the rear bumper of the 24 of Krahula, but I know Krahula's not just going to lay over and give it to him. It's going to be a good fight for what's going to end up being the lead. And out front, Eric Brundies has about a 5.5 second gap over Matt Lacrosse, so I'm going to keep looking right here. As the number 88 of Jeff Ryan just gets a little bit in the way, but not terribly. The gap's still closing now, 0.5 second between Scott Eckrich and James Krahula. Eckrich just eating up track behind him.
Wouldn't you feel intimidated a little bit when you have a car that fast coming up behind you in the rear mirror? I mean, he's closed up so many tenths each lap on James Krahula. But that's a difference. That's 10 laps full tires right there. So Krahula, he may not get the win today, but I assume he's going to get a strong top 5 finish.
We'll see. Bill, another one of our GSRC announcers, has a great analogy for catching the leaders, and it's something to the degree of milking a rooster. The hard part is catching them. And now he is there all over the rear bumper. And the 70 is going to try to dive down to the inside. Krahula's not going to give him any room whatsoever to the inside, but I think he's just fighting an inevitable losing battle. Here comes the Krahula taking the defensive line through the dog leg that time, trying to make it work. You're hoping that you can make the 70 burn his stuff up and equal out those tires just a little bit. The nice part for Krahula is the driver right ahead of him, Jesse Fowler. That's a teammate, so I don't expect Fowler to fight too much, and there you go. Fowler dives right down to the inside and lets what's going to be the leader's pass.
That's some great courtesy right there. Here we go, up to the bumper. Not going to give him any slack. So actually, he was already down at the bottom, entering that corner, but still not cutting any slack to the number 70 of Scott Eckrich. And Scott understands that too, so he's going to have to find another way to try to get around, maybe the outside lane.
You might see, as these guys are now 17 laps to go, you might even see the chrome horn come out. How patient can you be if you're the 70?
Well, right now he's being pretty patient. If he really wanted to take the bumper to him, he could take the bumper to him. He's faster, but here he goes around the outside lane. He's going to try it, sticking on the outside lane, side by side, coming off turn number 1. Entering through the dog leg, no contest.
No, that car stuck in turns 1 and 2. Took that high side and made it work in very impressive maneuver of the number 70 machine of Scott Eckrich. But now, Eric Brundies, your leader through all of that, has just announced he will be on the pit road this time by. So, I don't really see any way that any of those guys are going to be able to stretch the fuel and make it work. But I have been surprised once or twice.
Yeah, same here, but I just don't see it. That's more, as we talked about earlier in the broadcast, it's about 40 to 44 laps. We've had more of a 40 lap green flag run here, so they had to be getting close on their fuel.
Well, actually, they're on 48 right now. So, like I said, whoever gave me my fuel numbers at the beginning in the garage, I think I gotta get a new guy for that because my numbers were way wrong. But let's see here. Matt Lacrosse, he's winding up and sending it to pit road right now, too. So the last hope for that would be the number 35 of Josh King. He comes through 3 and 4, coming to the start-finish line, staying out one more time.
Yeah, he's about 5 seconds. Let's see here it's resetting here. Excuse me, about 3 seconds right now.
Bigger thing is, and he's just announced he's going to head to pit road. Even if he was to make that one on fuel, the number 70 was just gobbling him up. I mean, it was closing by a second a lap between those two. So the 70 is going to reassume the lead, coming to 13 laps to go.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you, but we have a battle here for actually it's 4th position. This will be for the 4th position this time by, or 3rd position, excuse me. James Krahula, Nick Cohan, side by side, 2nd position. P2. P2 position. Oh yeah, let's see. 10 lap old tires, maybe no contest. Oh, they're still battling pretty good. See down towards turn number 3 right here. 76 getting on the radio announcing he's pitting. Oh yeah, bottom lane's gonna go. No, not really a contest there. So top 3 for those 2 guys at the moment. Drew Carroll's kind of gaining 2 in the 4th position.
Yeah, right now your podium positions would be Scott Eckrich in the victory lane, Nick Cohan into 2nd, James Krahula going to try to hold on to 3rd. He's got about a 1.5 second advantage over the number 87 of Drew Carroll. We're going to have to see if those old tires on that 24 machine are going to be able to hang on for about 11 more laps coming around this time by. It's going to be good to see if the 24 is going to be able to hold on to the 3rd step of the podium, or if Mr. Excitement is going to be able to get up there and get him for the 3rd position.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here as we're getting towards the end of the race here, but we got about 10 laps to go. But I'd like to update a driver to our viewers here that we talked about earlier in the race. Number 27, Jake Wright. He pitted after kind of falling quite a few positions. He's currently in the 5th position, so it's working out pretty good for him, a top 5 finish, depending upon if we get a caution or not. And keep in mind, iRacing does not do green-white checkers, so the longer we run this green flag race, if we get a caution with 3 laps to go, that's pretty much the end of the race right there. So
I would think you are correct. I would even say with as many cars that are 1 lap down, if we get a caution with 4 to go, that will probably end it. And I don't know, and this series they will do a 1 lap shootout, so 5 to go might be right on that border of if it'll work or not. So I'm watching the 70 machine get a little squirrely there through the corners, but nothing major. And it's not even going to be a battle here. Going back to position 3, James Krahula is just holding on to those old tires. Not any competition whatsoever for the 87 of Drew Carroll. Drew Carroll is going to sneak by to the 3rd position and climb up to that 3rd step of the podium.
Funny radio communication there from the number 24 of James Krahula there, but yeah, that was really not really a contest between Drew Carroll and James Krahula. But get this, at this time by, James Krahula, he's in the 4th position, and the 5th position is about 5 seconds back. So, actually 6 seconds back, excuse me. So, yeah, it's a nice top 5 finish if we continue to go green for James Krahula. I mean, that was a good strategy call, but it wasn't enough for the win today. If we stay green.
It will. It was. I think what he was hoping for was probably a caution on that one to try to make that work and be able to try to pinch him behind him. But right now, it is all smooth sailing for the number 70 machine. Scott Eckrich out front, about a 2-second gap over Nick Cohan in 2nd. Cohan has not really been able to close up the whole lot. Last time by, it was about a 10th, and with 7 to go, that would have to be about 2 or 3 tenths a lap to really gain any kind of major inroads on that number 70 machine. But right now, that gap is holding through pretty steady. There's going to be a humdinger of a battle here for about 7th position. You got 3 cars underneath a blanket. Dan Murray, Steve Gottschalk, and Eric Brundys. And Brundys is just going to waste no time getting by. Coming through. And there goes the number 54 down to the inside of the 5 of Murray. And he's going to squeak away using the low line. A little bit of left side action on that yellow line to make it go. But now we have reached that point of probably no return. 5 laps to go this time for the number 70 of Scott Eckrich. Has absolutely dominated this event today out here in Phoenix. And we'll see if he's going to be able to close this one up.
Yeah, definitely. That number 54 machine, Eric Brundy's right there. I love his line around the racetrack. He hugs them, gets some left side tires actually on, and I mean directly on the yellow line, and he gets such a good run on exit too. So, great run for him today. He'll probably get a top 10 finish if we stay green. Dan Murray here in 8th place, and you have Steve Gottschalk, excuse me, in the 9th position, number 91. He's having a good day today, top 10.
All in all, a good day. We got a rough start to this one with a bunch of cautions, and even that, with all of that being said, the drivers have spent 33 laps under the caution flag with 8 caution flags. So,
another driver we haven't talked about much in this broadcast is the number 2 of Rhett McBride. He started in the 31st position. He's currently in the 6th position. So, and he's gaining a little bit on Jake Wright. Actually, he just lost time that last time by, so maybe lap traffic's playing in favor at the moment. But yeah, I tip my hat. Start from the back right there, as he is under attack right now from Eric Brundy's in the number 54. He's got a good long run car at number 54. He is hooked up.
well, and if you remember, he stayed out the absolute longest too, so he's got the freshest tires of anybody out there. But battling through all that traffic, I think he's going to end up washing back up to maybe 5th place. That's about 3 seconds in 2 laps. Not going to quite be enough, but a great day out front for the number 70 machine. We've talked about him a lot. Scott Eckrich going to take the white flag this time by. Has led 130, will end up leading 134 laps. Pure domination, and finally is going to get that monkey off of his back and shut off the whole part of the season, lock himself into the chase. Scott Eckrich going to slide it through turns 3 and 4 one more time, and Scott Eckrich is your winner of the Phoenix 250K, the race for Laura and Lymphoma awareness. Great victory from the number 70.
Great victory for the Scott Ettrick in the number 7 today. Nick Cohan's going to come home in 2nd. Drew Carroll is in 3rd. James Crahul will come home 4th, it looks like. And Eric Jake Wright will actually come home 5th. And great comeback for that Jake Wright. Then you got Eric Brundy's in 6th. Rhett McBride, 7th place. Great job.
Absolutely. Scott Eckrich I don't know if anybody told him that he's won. He's still just cutting laps around the track. Not quite up at full song here.
You better get on the radio to his spotter and say, is it over yet?
Well, I think with his luck this year, I'm sure he's running one more lap just to make sure.
Yeah, he may have to run 2 laps just to be 100% sure, or 110% sure.
Let's see here. He's slowing it down on the front stretch now. Think we're going to see, I believe it's time to make the donuts. Yeah, baby. Look at that. Finally get some burnout action on iRacing. Yeah. Not only does he know how to win a race, he knows how to do a burnout. Look at that. All the way down the front stretch.
Yeah, he could have done that toward to the finish.
It's still going. Still smoke pouring out of those tires.
Yeah, he's going for the record down the entire front stretch. I'd love to see him do that at Pocono.
Oh, that would be more impressive. But here he goes. Lets off of it right there into turn 1. And going to cut a couple more donuts off there in turn 1 for everybody. But hey, we're going to watch that. We're going to come back on the other side with the full field rundown and a driver interview. So stay tuned after the break. We'll be back. Welcome back to the Phoenix International Raceway, where we just saw ourselves a thrilling race out there, where Scott Eckrich finally was able to get the monkey off of his back and close off the victory, bringing his first victory home, bringing home his first victory of the year, and also locking himself to the season-ending chase. But now, without further ado, we're going to go through a full field rundown. As we mentioned, Scott Eckrich, your winner. Nick Cohan finally getting himself a good finish there, up into the second position. And Mr. Excitement himself, Drew Carroll, into third. Fourth was James Grahula. Fifth was Jake Wright. In sixth was Eric Brundies. Seventh to Rhett McBride. Eighth to Dan Murray. Ninth to Steve Gottschalk. And rounding out your top 10, Steve Ritter. Tanner.
And outside the top 10, you have Reed Rundle in 11th place, Jody Green in the 12th position tonight, Matt Lacrosse, who we were actually pulling for earlier in the broadcast. He'll finish in the 13th position. Josh King started 36th, finished 14th, one lap down, the first car lap down. Big Joe Hazard finishes in the 15th position tonight. Jesse Fowler, our in-race report earlier in the broadcast, will finish 16th. Benny Ellison in the 17th position, Jason Swan in 18th. Jonathan Goodell in the 19th position tonight, and Tommy Ryan finishes inside the top 20.
21st to Chad Stallman, 22nd to Calvin Filarski, into 23rd is Brandon Minnick, followed by Rick Thompson there in 24th. Jeff Ryan in that modified machine into the 25th finishing position. 26th was Don Runkle Jr. 27th, I lost my spot there on the order. 27th was Brad Collins. 28th to Rick Savage, followed by Pierre Daigle in 29th, and Alec Marshall in 30th.
Randy Yoakum will finish outside the top 30 in the 31st position. Woodrow Mahan, who was in the top 10, but connection issues faltered his night. He'll unofficially finish in the 32nd position. John Martin in the 33rd position. Mark Allen in the 34th position. Rich Jett will finish in the 35th position tonight. Paul Pepper finishes 37th. Ryan Howard will finish 38th. And Mark Nobert, who did not post a lap time or anything like that in this race, finishes in the 39th position.
And without further ado, we are going to reach out to the third step on the podium. Mr. Excitement himself, Drew Carroll. We're going to talk to you here in third place. Tell us about your day in that Shell Pennzoil machine.
Well, if I sound a little tired, apologize. We had to wheel that thing that whole race, but we had a good day. Ran up front all race, just didn't have enough speed to get Scott there. We were right on pace with him, but then toward the end of the run, he just got the better of us. But all in all, it was a really good day. I mean, I really can't complain, especially after last week.
Absolutely. I mean, you started out front. You start back in 11th, but you worked your way up very methodically early on. Now, when you saw those guys early taking two tires, did that tempt you at all to try to jump up there, or did you kind of realize, hey, that might not be a smart maneuver?
No, I was not content on taking two tires, especially with how this new build just came out, and nobody knows what's going to happen. So I was just going to be taking four most of the race because I knew I had the speed to get past them. And the setup was so loose that, I mean, those guys were probably begging for tires within 5 laps of whenever they pit to get those two tires changed. So, yeah, I mean, I just ran, took 4 tires each and every stop, and then got us up to a third place. So I can't complain.
Absolutely. Now, you do mention the new build that was released on iRacing today. How do you think that had an influence on the overall action today?
Well, practice we ran in the morning for qualifying, and it was, really grippy. You can run, 27 ones, I believe, and the whole pace fell off a second once we got to the race server. So, it definitely was a lot different. It definitely could slide around a lot more. You could make a lot more passes, which I really enjoyed, and I think this is going to be a big step for the rest of the season if this is the kind of racing we're going to get, because that was just very enjoyable. I was grinning ear to ear every time I went around a corner.
Sounds great. Now, I will be curious to see next week. We do find ourselves out in sunny California to complete the West Coast swing for the AdvoCare Cup Series. How do you think that low downforce package is going to play into the big old sweeping 2-mile oval of California?
To be honest with you, I think you'll see typical, how big that track is. 2 miles. It's probably going to be a lot of draft lock. Not much passing, but I think you'll see the groove really spread out and might go all the way to the high line. I don't know. But I think you'll probably see guys 2, 3, 4 wide sometime during the race. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how this new setup plays into that.
Absolutely. Before we let you go and celebrate your third place finish, any final words for us tonight, Mr. Excitement?
I just want to congratulate Scott. He drove a fantastic race. Just didn't have the speed to get up there to him, and just want to wish Laura get well. You know, I got actually to go deposit some money in their GoFundMe right now. I didn't have time before the race to do it, but hope she gets better. You know, have her in my prayers, and yeah, proud of everybody, and I'm gonna go out there and try to get a W next week.
All right. And we know that you'll be seeing that number 87 machine, not afraid to make a hole where there probably wasn't one to begin with, and wrestling up there for the lead. So we'll let you on go, and we'll catch you on down the road next week there, Drew.
All right, guys, thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you. That was the voice of Drew Carroll, our third place finisher. Tanner, you have caught up with our second place finisher, the one and only Nick Cohan.
Yeah, Nick Cohan was in the top 5 throughout pretty much the entire race tonight. Started second, finished second, but didn't have enough strong suit to get to Scott Ettrick. Nick, man, what a run you had tonight. You still in the top. You were in the top 5 pretty much the whole entire race. Take us through your rundown of your race from the cockpit view.
Yeah, in practice didn't feel confident. I just wasn't liking this new build, and the new server that we came in for the race made it a little looser and kind of helped a little bit. And I knew tires are going to be huge, so every run I was just saving my tires, and it was paying off towards the end of the runs. I was wheeling in some guys, and just didn't save them enough on that very last run to catch Scott. And plus, lap cars were just hard to get around, and Scott was getting them at the perfect time, and I was getting them at the worst of times. So it was hard to catch him in the last run. But I'm happy with second after the bad month I've had.
Yeah, definitely. And with the new package or the new build that we had today, that impacted the kind of the Gen 6 Cup racing on the iRacing surface with the new downforce. From your perspective, was there a change in racing? Was racing better? I mean, how did you feel?
Oh, it was so much fun. It was really loose, but it seems like you can handle the car. You can save it better now. When you get loose on exit, before it seemed like you get sideways, that was pretty much it. You're going around, but now it seems like you can drive a little, kind of like you're on dirt. I didn't know iRacing was implementing dirt this build, but it felt like it was out there this time. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. We've seen the number 70 go for a little bobble down 3 and 4 early in a race. But now with that dog leg on the back, we've seen a lot of guys who get them left side tires down there. They would just spin right out. Were you having any effects with that dog leg today?
In practice, before I knew that it was slippery down there, I almost wrecked a bunch of times down there. I was dead sideways coming back up onto the track, and I was kind of scared to go down there during the race, but I just had to drive aggressive tonight, being I'm buried in the points. So I went down there a lot, and it was a handful. I mean, I was feathering a throttle through there sometimes, but if on fresh tires, I just held it flat through there and just stayed focused, because split second that thing would break loose. I know it happened to a couple guys tonight, and you just had to be really aware down there.
Yes, definitely. But before we let you go, our next race is Auto Club Speedway, the West Coast Sweep, pretty much. Do you expect the racing at Auto Club to be really good out there, or how do you expect the racing to be out at Auto Club?
I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. Between the multiple grooves that have come into iRacing now, Auto Club being a track where you can run multiple grooves, and now along with this, it kind of feels like a new tire model, but it's actually a new aerodynamics package. I think it's going to make for some fun racing, and hopefully the setup isn't too loose there, because it seems like a lot of people, whenever I've had a race there where it's real loose at Auto Club, seems like there's a lot of wrecks. But we got such a good group of guys here at PRL. I don't think we'll have an issue.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to the great racing, just like we saw tonight. Long green flag runs just really excited me, especially when you have that green flag pit stop. So congratulations on your second place finish. It's a great points paying race, and hopefully you can go get them next week.
Yeah, just want to give a shout out to CG Automotive, K&N, and of course Jason Swan at Steel Horse Racing. for putting this all together. And also, I don't know Laura personally, but I know cancer affects us all in some shape or form. So my best wishes to her and everyone else affected. And thanks to you guys, James Grahula and PRL, for putting this together tonight.
And that was Nick Cohan, who finishes in the second position tonight. Good points paying position for Nick Cohan. Back to you there, Brian.
Absolutely. And as we mentioned, finally getting the monkey off his back, our winner, Scott Eckrich. Tell us, how does it feel, Scott, to finally get the victory, shed all that bad luck, and get yourself locked into the chase?
You said it. I messed myself up the last couple weeks with speeding penalties, and it feels real good to get locked in that chase and have a good finish.
Absolutely. Now, I mean, you were dominant tonight, leading 134 laps, I believe, on that one. How did the car play into your strengths, or how did the setup play into your strength more? Was it the new build? I mean, you're fast everywhere we've been, but what made your car that extra bit more dominant, do you think?
I was just focusing on. It seemed like in practice real early, we were going to focus on saving the rear tires, and I went ahead and went with that strategy. Just save the rear tires all the race as long as I could, and it seemed to really help with the long run speed.
Sounds good. Next week, we find ourselves out in California, sunny California, with the lower downforce package, completing out the West Coast swing of the AdvoCare Cup Series. What are you thinking next week?
At this point, I think it's going to be a total question mark, but I would expect it to be very interesting, to say the least. This grip is really playing, havoc with the car on the long runs and stuff, so should be very interesting.
I believe that's absolutely going to be the case next week. It's going to be a great battle. And who knows? I think these guys know, hey, you can finally get one of these and get the luck to play your way. So it's going to be good. You're going to have to try to defend your crown and try to make it back to back out on the West Coast.
Oh, we'll definitely be giving it all we got.
Sounds good, Scott. Any final words before we send you off and let you celebrate your victory?
I would just like to wish Laura the best and let her know everyone's pulling for her.
Sounds great. We will catch up to you next week. Safe travels out there to virtual California, and see you out in California, I guess.
Yep, thank you.
That was the voice of our winner. But Tanner, you have caught up with James Grahula as well, who rounded out our top 5 today.
Yes, sir. James Krahula, you round out in the top 5. I was pulling for you to win this race, but unfortunately, Scott and them guys that finished ahead of you caught you. You pitted early, and it got you on the lead for a little bit, but unfortunately, it'll salvage you up to a 4th place finish. Give us a rundown of your day.
Well, I had something there to try and get Scott. He's just too good on these weird tracks, and especially with this new build where you have to drive it. I knew that he was going to be even tougher to beat, and that was absolutely fun. Though, big shout out to iRacing. The new Aero package is awesome. The effects are awesome. I almost wanted to switch this to a night race so we could watch the fireworks there at the end, but we got one of those coming up here soon. But overall, fantastic. We're already in the chase, so why not gamble a little bit and try and sneak a win away?
Yeah, why not? It gives you the opportunity to gamble every single race if you already got that win locked up and locked into the chase. So why not? I mean, I totally agree with you. I was pulling for you at the end there because we were talking about you in a broadcast, and man, if only they wouldn't have caught you. But unfortunately, 10-lap old tires in comparison was the difference there. But now with that dog leg, that was a very treacherous part of the racetrack from what we were seeing from the booth. If you get them left side tires from what we were seeing, you're going for a spin. What was it from your perspective?
It was loose everywhere you went on this racetrack, and I was gritting the entire race. That was so much more fun. That was so much fun. Racing Eric, racing Nick, just everyone I was around. I'd get past. I'm like, man, that was awesome. So it was just so much fun with this.
Yes, definitely. And we just got a notification here. I just got a notification here that the funding is up to $2,595 out of $3,000. So it is now getting there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that since we started this week, I think that we've gotten a little over $150 on there. A lot of the people in the league have stepped up, and I know that a lot of people are going to be watching this on demand later. Go to that link still, and if it is under 3,000, donate whatever you can to try and help out Laura. I think that Jonathan's video kind of said it best that not everyone that's in the sim racing world has to be a racer in order to be a rock star and to make a huge difference. And I know that especially over here with what you guys are doing, we could all appreciate all you people and all the broadcasters that go through and try and advance iRacing. And sim racing in general. It's just absolutely fantastic, and she's done a lot of that too. So we're pulling for her. Stay strong, Laura. I know that you're out on vacation right now without signal, but when you get back and you get to watch this later, I hope that we helped you get you to that goal. So again, you're watching this on demand. Go to that link. Help her out. Let's help out with this. But overall, just been real great so far. The race is absolutely fun. Once we got calmed down there, because now with the new iRacing rules, we ran qualifying in the morning. And then we came into the race, and now the track temperature jumped up 30 degrees, and it was slick. It was really, really slick, which honestly I think made it a lot more fun. So once we got calmed down there, the race is absolutely fantastic. I thank my teammates. Go check us out on Facebook, unacceptablерacing.com. Go check out the Premier Racing League Facebook. Check out our website, premierracingleague.com. If you like driving loose stuff, if you like driving clean, and you like hard racetracks, we're the league for you. So come and check us out.
Yes, definitely. I mean, you got such a great community of the sim racing guys here. I mean, I've raced with you guys before in the past on the iRacing sim, and you guys are just phenomenal on driving the cars and just the way you guys are so respectful around each other, and that's just a great thing. This is a great sim racing community here, folks, and big thumbs up to everybody. But yeah, James, so before we wrap it up, is there anything else you'd like to add before we start to wrap this up?
Nope, I got to keep Jet off my back, so let's wrap it up and get you guys home. Thank you all again for the broadcast. Can't wait to get home and watch it and donate for Laura. Stay strong.
Yes, donate for Laura, everybody. Keep that in mind, too. So that's James Krahula, who finishes in the 4th position tonight. Back to you, Brian.
Absolutely. So I say we just send it to the house. We'll keep Amjad happy. We'll get the viewers happy, and let everybody go back to the night. What do you say, Tanner?
Yeah, definitely. It's what a race we did. Time to let everybody to settle down for the night and get back to racing next week at the Auto Club Speedway.
Absolutely. So we'd like to thank our league sponsors, AdvoCare, Savage Spinners, and Coastal Safety Auditors. We'd also, kind of echo everybody's thoughts. Stay strong, Laura. We're all pulling for you in the community. We're all one big family. Hope the best for you. Thanks to our series organizer, the one and only James Krahula. And thank you to the software and the hardware that we use for our broadcast that you can see listed on your screen right now. Thank you to the team today, Tanner, Amjad, and Dougie. If you would like to find out more about the Global Sim Racing channel, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com, along with archived races and upcoming broadcasts. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at facebook.com/Global Sim Racing Channel. A special thank you to Eric Ekholm and Casey Lalonde, who both provide music for our broadcasts. Their music can be found at the locations listed on the screen as well. As we talked about, our next race next week, the Speed Mafia 200 at the Auto Club Speedway. We also have other upcoming races for other series on screen, so check them out and mark them down on your calendar. Until next time, race clean, race hard, and I'll see you on the track.